Inquisitor powers I have not used for a little while. Slap this down. This is a good time to use it. Down you all go. You want to stop my magic? Stop this, dickheads. One for you, Grizz. Kapow! Right in the dirt. Oh. Right in the robot knob.
In the battle today, we will hold the line.
Yeah. Careful where you're shooting, you clown. Got him in the dick. That was for you, Grizz. He's in here close. Shit, barrier time. Knock it down. Up you get. And knock him down.
You are not Saren.
Ooh. Oh, it's a friggin' Krogan. I thought this was a Geth. Ah, Krogans are bad. That's why Krogans are bad.
You don't have to be enemies.
Yes, team up. I've been saying that the whole time. Oh, he's good. All right, he's good. There we go. Slap him. That's it. Be calm, Cal. Steady, stay focused. All the incoming rocks. They just needed some yummy warm hugs. Always pay attention to when he runs off. He's like Mary Poppins. He only shows up to those who need him. One big meditation stream session. Oh, hit my car. Oh, hit the traffic lights. There you go, Grizz. She wasn't fat. She was pregnant. Gotta forget the... Oh, no. Yep. No, hang on. I'm stuck. Oh, this guy's upset. Go up the hill, bruh. It's turn around. Junk punch. We can just junk punch him to say, leave her alone, you creeper. Captain Planet is a hero. Oh, sorry about that. When do we summon Captain Planet?
Heading toward.
Damn, that one was boring. Oh shit, well I just made it not so boring by yeeting off the dam. I'm calling that a win. Oh, come on. There we go. Got him. Alright, so if I charge him, can I then shoot him in the face? Yes, I can. Oh, I think I've discovered the secret. Charge him and then a face shot. Oh, that's very effective.
We need to get to the central column before
Yes.
sets off those bombs.
Smoother. Speaking of mods and things needing to be smoother, check out my weird floaty swords. For some reason, we are... Oh, wow, that's hideous. Holy balls, I wasn't ready for that. That is terrifying. Oh dear, that is very terrifying. Oh no, make it stop. Okay, we're gonna restart the entire game in that case. And I didn't crash this time, yay. Go us. The client just interacts with the AI to do whatever they want, so they're basically a human robot. It's, you know, modern day prostitution in Cyberpunk. That's what they were talking about.
Sad.
Go eat a dick, Johnny.
They think they remember nothing.
Oh, come on. It's Balkaned. Never mind. Alright, Mr. Aussie dude.
Well, dear.
Good morning, night city, a day in the life. I was on my own, catching a ride.
We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long.
What happens if I cannot defeat the demon?
It will turn you into an abomination, and the Templars will be forced to slay you.
Get him. Don't punch it. Use magic. That's better. Non-mages. The muggles. The muggles are so hollow. There's going to be some action, but also a lot of dialogue, but good dialogue too. He doesn't look comfortable. He's got spikes coming out of everywhere. That can't be comfortable for sleeping, like he keeps sleeping. And this spirit wolf. I'm gonna go back to myself. Oh shit, there's one here. Oh, there's heaps of them. It's 2 against 1. Do you really want to fight us both?
Amusing.
Combat with in the Fade is always a bit weird. It's not very epic. Look out, look out. So you're just gonna stand there. Alright, everyone, you can come along now. Oh, death magic. That can't be good if I see someone casting something called death magic. Alistair, go hit that guy. Down they go. I really don't like emissaries, you are correct. Because they're like mages, they're casters. They can do so much damage, and they can do debuffs, they can do fireballs, they can do all kinds of horrible stuff. Ooh, I haven't seen one of those yet.
I think we work well together.
Oh yeah, that went well. Is he secretly like a badass? Did he? Surely not. Oh, spinny flippies move. Well, that's a big explosion. Last little side gig, and we'll just smash that out and we're good to go. Oh, oh, steady, steady. Oh, don't be too messy. Okay. Watch for rocks. Rocks don't explode off the front of the car like cactuses do. Cacti. Oh, yes! Yes! Mad tricks. Give me them bonus points. Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to see the montage either.
Oh, you won't get to see the oh, I'm going to see the montage. Let's have a look. Oh, yes. Oh, the montage is so satisfying, Frosty. Wish you could see this. That's pretty good.
Finger right now.
That's a good little, oh yeah, good little, what do you call it? Time-lapse montage. Good stuff. Very satisfying.
I'm giving you both of my middle fingers.
Berserk. Oh, fisticuffs. Oh, I just ripped his head off. Yes.
Oh, I got exploded.
Yes. Come here, oh,
Get
bitchy
yes,
bitch.
get her.
Yes, you're getting slapped. You're getting slapped. Oh, rip your heart out. Nice.
Got no one to play with. That's not fair.
We killed them so fast. Oh, we need you guys back up.
Round 2. Clark,
Need a hand? It's not throat!
What's next, Peter?
Drax, throw that.
our robot is weak. Let us put it out of commission.
Super chops, please, Gamora.
It'll be a slice!
And boom some you. And some boom some Peter Quill, yes. Teamwork.
Who knows how many reserve forces they can bring in here? We gotta shut it down. Cortez is in trouble! Get to him!
Where did he go? Okay, that way. Come on, Javik, get up, bro. Yeah, me too. Me too. Punch it off the edge. There we go. Punch him off the edge. Yes! Suck on that, dickhead. Man, that one was boring. Oh shit, well I just made it not so boring by yeeting off the dam. Alright. Geronimo, one more time. And done. How's that? Oh dear. I'm calling that a win.
So, this is where we part. But...
Quiet. I hear footsteps.
Odd. Few would dare venture here.
Why is there footsteps? Where? Oh.
Bastard! Kill him! The night too!
Come on, assassin. Fight him! Finishing for you. Finishing. Oh, what teamwork! Well done, Sivreed. Alrighty, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. This is Nerdedness. I'm back. I'm Shade. I'm back from holidays. How's everyone doing? I need to remember how to do this whole streaming gig because it's been like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks since I've done any of this. I also, hopefully I've got my camera position right because I took my camera away for holidays and now I'm trying to figure out where it was and it doesn't seem to quite be where it was, but hopefully it's working okay. How's everyone else been in the meantime? I know that Vito, for example, you've been busy battling a hurricane by the name of Ian. That's balls. Confused Human, you're starting to come down sick a day before your birthday. That's balls. Sparkle Sauce, however, is out to some sort of fancy free 5-star dinner. That is not balls. Congrats, Sparkle Sauce. That's good for you. Oh, Vito, no. So you got the verdict from the whole job situation. So you did lose your job with that other guy. Damn, that sucks, man. Sorry to hear. That was a good job too, because it meant that you'd be awake in our time zone, so you could hang out with us. Well, hopefully something comes around for you relatively soon. Then. Now, how is everyone else doing? So, Bright is on now. Frosty's going to be a little bit late, I think. And Cookie. I don't know if Cookie's around. Is Cookie around? Cookie. He is here, but he'll be muted. Nerdness as he playgrounded. Ah, no worries. All right, so Cookie is lurking quietly in the background. So Vito, 2 weeks ago, they stated you violated their safety standards. So they finally found an excuse, right? They finally found a way to sort of work it against you. Oh, man, that sucks. Sorry to hear, man. Wish there was something we could do to assist and help you. Kind of hard being on the other side of the planet, though. But hopefully you'll get another good job and you will also be happy there. And hopefully you'll still be doing night shift stuff so you can hang out on our time zone. Because you're such a prominent member of our nerdiness community, man. So, yes, keep us posted and let us know if there's anything we can do to help as well. All right, what else has been happening? Hopefully it'll lead to a better job. That's true. When one door closes, another opens, right? So maybe it'll work out better. We'll just have to see. Okay, so tonight, doing a bit of a random, casual, chatty kind of stream. My plan is we're going to talk through some pictures and video clips from our Outback holiday adventure we just went on, which included the painted desert you see here. I also thought, well, maybe we'll do a little bit of PowerWash Simulator just to fill in some time. Maybe I'll launch into the intro of the campaign for Anthem, which is what I think we'll start doing next for our Friday social co-op sessions, because it's a fun game and could be cool with a couple of friends. I've never played with anyone that I know in that game. The game is dying, however, there is some good content there, so I figured let's play it before it totally disappears. Sparkle Sauce Doom Thursday! Yes! We will be doing some Doom. Got to dig out your Doom shirt, yes you do. And Sparkle Sauce, so she can't hear, so she's just watching. So we've got all the movements and the chat. So yes, Larium, very much. It is very much a show and tell stream. And Sparkle Sauce is already quite toasted. So if you want to give her some banter, now's your opportunity, because she's distracted with whatever dinner event she's attending. And I know that she's had at least 5 glasses of either champagne or wine or something by now. So yeah, eating a steak. All right, nice. Hells yeah, love steak. All right, so what does everyone want to do? If we want, we can warm up with a little bit of PowerWash Simulator, have a little bit of banter, see what everyone's up to, and then we can transition into some holiday show and tell. We can do some holiday show and tell first. It's kind of up to everyone. And Grizz is here as well. Well, obviously we need Grizz for the holiday show and tell, because Grizz was our noble leader. Grizz was the primary organizer and leader of our adventure. So well done, Grizz. We all got back safely. Any dramas that did occur were actually not his fault. And some dramas did occur along the way. We'll touch on that when we get into there. So Sparkle Sauce, free Wii is the best price. Yeah, free is the best price. Yes, you can already tell Sparkle Sauce is hammered. All right, so did he give anything to Dick Punches? He didn't. And Vito, he didn't lick anything either. Actually, none of us. That would have been a good opportunity. Missed photo opportunity for us to pose pretending to lick something random for Vito. Oh, well. Lyrium, you need to go to your violin lesson now. You want to hear about the holiday adventures. Be back soon. No worries. All right. You licked a rock, did you, Chris? It tasted like we were surrounded by rocks. There were rocks everywhere. We got some good sparkly rocks too. All right, so what we'll do is let's see how I can do a little bit of PowerWash Simulator just to sort of get back into the groove of things. Lyrium will be back, and maybe Frosty will be back later too, so we can then do some show and tell soon. In the meantime, Grounded has had its official release. That is absolutely going to distract Cookie from attending our streams, because he played that with a bunch of his friends. Oh, that's a terrible sound. He played that a whole bunch with his friends when it was in the beta period. I'm interested to have a bit of a look at it, but ultimately, I'm not super excited. Survival games aren't really my thing, but it does look kind of cool. Alright, let's just start with some general washing. Now, I did kind of vow that I don't really like doing this game too much solo, but that's okay, we'll just hang out. So, Vito, it's as long as we don't lick any bright-coloured frogs. Yeah, you gotta be careful what you lick in the Australian outback. So many things are there to either poison you or hurt you. Prickles is a primary example. Oh, so many prickles. I got attacked by mozzies. I think I've still got scars. You can see the scars and marks on my hands from mosquito attacks one night. One night, that's all it took. And then the rest of the week, still got all these marks. Ugh. Did not lick the prickles. Good choice, Grizz. Good choice. So, Grizz, are you all unpacked now? Are you all set? Because I know we were... a couple of us were posting pictures and talking about the washing of our cars, which took an intense amount of time and effort to achieve. What are prickles? I didn't realize that was such an Australian word. Prickles, little sharp seed things that like stab your socks and legs and things. Yeah. Anyone got a better murder grass? Yeah, that's it. Bright's on it. Murder grass. Perfect. Perfect description. Anastasia, you haven't been out in the wilderness for some years. Your back didn't like it much without an inflated mattress. That's one of the things I struggled with a little bit. Is so I've got ongoing back and shoulder issues and neck issues, rather. But I survived because I used my brother's camp trailer that he's built. And in there, the mattress is very firm. But for the last parts of the trip, we were like checking into little motels and cabins, which provided beds for us, which were a little bit better. But ultimately, is a small price to pay for the adventure we got to do. And I'm considering building my own or buying my own camper trailer now too. Sandspurs, yes, Vito, same thing. So we kind of use the word prickle for a bit more generic because basically in Australia they come in all shapes and forms depending on which part of the country that you're in. No part of the country is free of prickles. But yes, you're thinking of the same thing. No one licked a pickle. Licked a pickle? Licked a prickle. Sparkle sauce, but she can't hear us. So Grizz, you're mostly unpacked. You were power washing the ute today and it hurt your back. Oh, geez. It came good, then you did it again cleaning. Oh, no, man. You got to just take it easy. Yes. And Grizz, I'm assuming you'll be coming around on the weekend for the post-holiday celebrations. All right. can I push a button to shut this thing up? I did see a button here. Oh my god, that is so much better. I should have done that at the start. You'll be around with a rum in hand, most excellent. Maybe one day in the future when Grizz and I go on another Outback adventure, maybe one day we'll have constant high-speed internet and we can stream straight from the Outback where everything's trying to kill you all the time. Right's gonna cook some Mexican and pulled pork for the weekend. Hells yeah! Yeah! Remember to turn it on later to clean the poles nicely. Oh, okay. Turn the... Yep. I forgot that you have played a good portion of this game, Anastasia. I will always listen to your tips. Absolutely. No place worth camping has internet. But we were talking about Starlink and satellite internets. I would totally do that for the lols. What am I gonna do here? Alright. So I actually looked it up. I'm like, how many more levels of PowerWash Simulator are there? In career mode, there's still a few to get through, so we might still do some of power washing on some Friday nights, but I am keen to switch it up a bit. Do a little bit of Anthem. I've been playing a little bit of Anthem on my main character, my main account, over the last couple of days. But Grizz, I shall be summoning you, Cookie Frosty, to join me in some multiplayer Anthem action. You may find a CD key mysteriously show up in your inbox in the near future. Vito, you put a picture of sand spurs in Discord. Well, we better check that out then. Yep, yeah, very similar. Yes, we have stuff like that in all kinds of shapes and sizes. That is one form of which our prickles come in, yes. We also have, like, you know, ryegrass and barley grass that has, like, you know, the more arrowhead-looking ones as well. But those ones, yep, very similar to that we encounter. Interestingly, or strangely, I didn't actually take any photos of any prickles. Maybe I should have. They look like a wild fruit when you get up close. The bindies, yes, Grizz. The bindies. They are a form of prickle as well. Australian nature really tries to kill you where it does. It's just one of the things. It's just relentless. And I kind of forgot. I remember that flies were a problem, so I was sure to bring head mesh. But I forgot just how relentless even the flora is. With, you know, spurs, bindies, prickles, whatever you want to call them, being everywhere. Because I remember being in the Simpson Desert back in 2015 doing an adventure trip there. This is when we were literally driving across the large desert in the middle of the country, going over sand dunes and stuff. And even when you get outside the car, there's sand everywhere, but you walk around a bit and there's like big three-pronged spurs. Or spur-like prickles, and they're big too, like, you know, the size of sort of your thumbnail. They look like caltrops, and I was just like, oh man, everywhere you go in this country, something is trying to get you. Always something trying to get you. Most dangerous you get there is the giant hogweed. I've never heard of that. Now I must Google it. Giant hog. Ooh. Dalen, is this a recap or live? It is live. Oh, wow. This is some of the reactions people get from this hogweed. Dang, it doesn't even look that ferocious, Anastasia. This is the problem, right? It doesn't look that mean, so you assume it's not too bad. All right. Yes. Oh, good point, Dalen. I should have done this. I forgot to put the big screen on like a dickhead. Yeah. And Sparkle Sauce wasn't yelling at me, so I also forgot. There we go. So yeah, we're going to do just some PowerWash Simulator for one level. as we sort of have a bit of a chat and catch up. And we'll do some holiday recapping after that. Assuming that I'm not too dumb and frustrated with this game and this level. Alright, maybe I should do right up and down here. This is where I need the likes of Cookie and Frosty to make this a smoother process. So Anastasia, the hogweed is pretty but covered in juice that gives you terrible burns when exposed to the sun. Oh wow, so it's like a weird sunlight chemical reaction. You get to actually feel what it's like to be a vampire. Delen asks, how has everyone been? It's been a mixture, Delen. It's been a mixture. Vito has lost his job in the end, which sucks. And Confused Human is coming down a little bit sick before their birthday, which also sucks, yes. How are you going, Dalen? Have you had any more bouts of morning sickness or any other annoyances that come with spawning humans? It's like the Harris Heller Stream Beats mix music is a little bit of hit and a miss again at the moment. And so far, I've mostly remembered how to stream. Guaranteed I'll be making some errors, though. Oh, we got some graffiti under here. Had to do some actual power washing yesterday to wash my car as well, and it is definitely not as easy as this game makes it out to be. Confused Human, worst plant other than hogweed you've come across is stinging nettle. Fell into a large pile with arms and legs bare. Oh no! That is horrible. We do get nettles here as well. I'm not sure if they were introduced from the UK, from England, as part of the colonisation that occurred here. But they are around. The most horrid story I have heard of someone getting poleaxed by a bunch of stuff here was when I was at university. One of our friends was looking pretty haggard one day. I'm like, dude, you okay? What's going on? He's like, oh yeah, I was riding my bike along the river in the city, and he got either a flat tire or something. Anyway, kind of sort of fell down the embankment, down the embankment along the river, with his bike tumbling with him, and he fell onto a cactus. Which, why is there cactus there? But of course it's Australia, so I guess there's cactus everywhere. You don't expect there to be. So he fell onto a cactus, which is horrific, which had a beehive in it, which is also doubly horrific again. So he immediately had to try and get up and then run and then jump into the gross river that is the Yarra, which is a bit like the River Thames if you're in London, or you know what that's like. It's like a gross river through the city. He had to jump into the river to try and escape the swarm that was bees that came after him. Oh, poor bastard. Anyway, he survived. Not too bad, worse for wear. I reckon if that happened to me, I would have had a severe allergic reaction. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, so Dylan, you're good. Sickness is kind of behind you now. Actually looking forward to meeting the baby in just a few months. Excellent. Yes, that is the way it should be. Excitement and glowingness. Right, now is this graffiti on the horse's ass, or was it meant to be? It is. Oh, man. This is going to make this thing annoying to clean. It's like the Hudson River in New York. Yes, that's it. We've all got... All the cities have got one kind of gross river, haven't they? Brown, full of pollution and crap, and you catch 3 different types of hepatitis if you swim in it. Ah, yes, Confused Human. Yes, Dalen is expecting. New human, new, was it player 2 or player 3 arriving soon? Maybe a handy little healer or support character for your team or the group. Sparkle Sauce is only able to read the chat. I thought Sparkle Sauce already knew. This horse is almost done. There we go. Carousel platform's almost done. Get more of this platform done so it's ticked off. Congratulations, may your heart be as full as your belly. Yes, so now we got to put up with Sparkle Sauces. Drunken. Oh, there's some dirt under there. Give me that juicy, good dirt. Yes. Alright, so we'll be back to our main stream of Oblivion next week as well. I'm hoping over the next few days I can get my beast taming mod finished so I can play with it, utilizing it in-game. And then we'll crack on with the next arc in Oblivion, which will be doing the likes of the Fighters Guild stuff. And then onto some of the main story stuff. There's not a lot left for us to do in Oblivion, so there's still a couple more weeks there. And then I think we're tapping into either... I think we might be doing... what was it? What's it called? Bioshock. And then once we've done Bioshock, onto The Witcher 2. And then we'll see what that landscape's looking like for The Witcher 3 remaster after that. I was going to do Spider-Man because it's newly released for PC and looks awesome. But I think you've all outvoted me. Instead, you wanted to do some Bioshock. So that's cool. Bioshock is very good. So Delenn, you thought maybe just summer because she's coming in summer, but my friend said that just reminds him of Rick and Morty. Ah, it does. Oh, geez, Rick. Oh, Rick and Morty. I think there's more episodes of that coming soon too. Oh, I love Rick and Morty. Forgot that Summer was Morty's sister in that. Oh yeah, middle name could be good. Or is there a notable Dragon Age character? Maybe Liliana. I think Liliana's a very pretty name. Maybe you could slot that in. You pick username based on either the time of the year or the last thing you ate. As long as it's not something gross like carrot cake or banana bread. That's right, I said it. Fight me. Don't know why people like those things. But they do. Yeah, zombie ginger. That's it. Liliana for the win. Dread Wolf. So yes, Dragon Age 4, Dread Wolf coming soon. I saw a headline saying that they're going to try and reward returning players who already have games, save games from the series. So that'll be good if they do that. As well as they're going to try and make it welcoming for newcomers as well, as that is part of the challenge when you're dealing with a a series or a franchise that's been running for like, I don't know, 2009 I think was when Dragon Age Origins came out, so over 10 years already. By the time Dreadwolf comes out, it'll be maybe 15 years. You think your PlayStation username is Banana Smoothie? That's great. Steak Spring says Sparkle Sauce. That's what her name would be if it was the summer. Was it the season and what she last ate? October Squid. I'm always bad at coming up with usernames for myself. Took me a long time to come up with Shade, and Shade's pretty generic, not very interesting or inspiring. Meanwhile, I helped Sparkle Sauce come up with hers in like, I don't know, 5 minutes. And it's a perfect username for Sparkle Sauce, her personality, what she brings to the fore, etc. Full cookie. Sounds okay. Anastasia, I hope Dreadwolf is not coming for a few years yet. Yeah, I believe it'll be a couple of years at least. I reckon at least 3. Depends on how hard and how fast they want to go on it. When you look at the state of Anthem, that is surprisingly well developed, considering they created that in the space of like 14 months, and so it was never going to succeed with that, but considering what's actually in there is quite impressive. I don't know these rods. Is there still stuff stuck up there? Is there? This. Oh man. Autumn mozzarella stick. All these usernames are delicious. October squid does sound very interesting. Mine would be spring Mexican rice. Doesn't have the same zing to it as some of the other ones, like steak spring or October squid. Although October's not a season, spring squid. Calamari Autumn. There you go. That's a name. That's probably an indie artist somewhere has already snagged that name. October orange juice. Yep. Hey that. Calamari Autumn. That's a good one. It's like a band name, right? Anyone see Parks and Rec? With Andy listing all the different bad names that they've had. Hilarious. Alright, this bloody horse is getting annoying to watch. Have I done half the horses yet? If I exit this partway through, does it save my progress? That's the next question. I can feel my interest waning. Ding. Need like super cheat codes to super wash everything super quick. It does say thank you, Anastasia. Good to know, because that could be quite tedious otherwise. Means we can come back to it. So what games has everyone been playing recently? It felt weird for me spending 2 weeks not playing anything. And then I get home, I'm like, all right, I need to satisfy my game craving. So I've been playing a bit of Anthem, get back into the swing, doing some multiplayer Anthem on Fridays. Theo, welcome. How you doing? Anastasia, you've done some wildflowers. Oh. But Theo, I have been away in the Australian outback on holidays, along with Bright and Grisnack. Now, once we've cleared this level, or until we all get sick of this level, I will show some photos and clips. Bit of a show and tell from the little adventure we've just had. Then depending on how we're doing for time, might play the intro mission for Anthem to set it up. For us doing some multiplayer co-op with a couple of people on Friday. Because ultimately, although Anthem was a flop, it's just the end game that sucks, really. Some of the gameplay gets a little bit repetitive in the middle. But ultimately, it's a decent game. It could have been amazing. Could have been better than Destiny, in my opinion. But I am biased because it's like very Iron Man-like, and I am an Iron Man fan. The Wild Flavor is kind of 2.5D Stardew Valley, but not that detailed. Okay, I actually haven't played Stardew Valley either. Is World of Flowers pixel art? I won't make any comments about pixel art because everyone loves to make fun of my views of that. Pixel art, I just get tired of it sometimes. But Stardew Valley, you do have to admit, it's decent, right? Like, the gameplay is great for starters. I've watched others play it for a little bit, but I have not played it myself, and I don't plan to at this stage. But it's like a nice pixel art. It's like I don't know how to say it. It's like a nice, recognizable, comfortable pixel art. Like Pokemon kind of level of, you know, functional pixel art. Looks decent, but doesn't blow your mind. Oh, so Wildflowers is a bit cartoonish. Oh, okay. Sounds cool. So Vito, everyone thought it was going to be the next Mass Effect multiplayer. Yeah, so Mass Effect multiplayer in Mass Effect 3, the original, because they stripped it out for Legendary Edition. I played a bunch of that too. I enjoyed it. It wasn't very deep, and it's not something you'd want to play a lot of, but if you got some progression in the multiplayer, it counted towards some of the war readiness points in the single player campaign, so you were motivated to play some of it, and it was decent. But again, a bit repetitive and a bit limited, and they didn't invest a lot in it, but it was kind of fun. Plays a couple of different races and a couple of different classes. But yeah, Anthem is a looter shooter. It won't be around forever. I think eventually they'll just shut it down. It's still there. Pretty much all the bugs are fixed, which is good. It's just lacking in some content. But the campaign's good. I've nearly maxed out my main suit of armor. I'll start a new character for some multiplayer co-op. Oh, Vito, you can still play Mass Effect multiplayer if you've got the original game. Cool. I do have the original somewhere. It doesn't look as good as the Legendary version, though. And Anastasia is still doing Phasmophobia with friends, but it does get repetitive quickly. Very fun with voice chat. That's right. Well, I think doing games in co-op with voice chat makes any game better. Which is why I've always wanted to play Anthem. None of my friends ever got Anthem. So we're gonna do it with our friends here, our new friends, our stream co-op friends. And it will be fun. There are some really good elements of story in it, and some hilarious characters. It also features Jolo Troglio. Now, I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly, but that is the guy who plays Charles Boyle in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He voices a character. Now, it's not a main character, it's like a side character. And a bit of an annoying... Well, he's... interesting character. We will meet him. He's quite funny. And I love it because it's got Jojo in it. So, Vito, the servers are still up and active for Mass Effect 3, so that's good. That means, hopefully, therefore, Anthem servers will still keep running for a while. Such a missed opportunity there, because, ultimately... there's some good stuff in there. In particular, the way that the suits move feels very natural. And it looks good. The game still looks very impressive. For a game that was built in 14 months and abandoned like 6 months after it was released. 6 months? 12 months? I don't know. So Theo might play Anthem if you get paid to. Get paid to play Anthem. That'd be nice. I'd do that. Yeah, I've always said Anthem's a good game if you can pick it up for cheap. Like, you know, $5 or $10, definitely worth it. $15, worth it if you like that kind of game style. I do like that game style. And it's Iron Man suit themed, so I'm biased to start with. There it is. It's graffiti is a bush. Come on, give us that satisfactory dings. Lens the pole. Whole base not clean. Alright. So this level so far is not as fiddly and frustrating as some of the other levels though, right? Sort of. When we catch up with the Grunt Cookies, who will join us hopefully on Friday for either PowerWash Simulator action or some Anthem, he can tell us what he thinks of Grounded and how well it's come up. I watched Pungeon Master stream it when he was playing it with Cookie a number of months ago, which was hilarious because there were some bugs with the mosquitoes in there, and they kept harassing and killing Pungeon Master. It got him very upset. It was quite funny. Anastasia, your game backlog is still vast, but Genshin Impact keeps you in its clutches. Just got the desert area with pyramids and ancient machines and puzzles. See, Genshin Impact is something I have not played yet either. It does appeal a little bit because it's meant to be very good. It's meant to be pretty much the best gacha game to date, right? So a gacha game being it's free to play, but then it gets to a point where if you don't spend some money to unlock or enable or purchase some kind of convenience, it gets quite annoying. I summarized that correctly. But Genshin Impact also, I think you can play that on like on Android, iOS, as well as PC or something. That's impressive. Theo, you gotta go eat. No worries. Thanks for coming along, man. Thanks for hanging out. Oh man, this... Such tedious. Confused, you started Genshin Impact, but you dropped out after a week. It was pretty good, oh yeah. At this stage, I don't have room to try it, but maybe in future. Genshin is good in the sense that you don't need any additional characters for story. Open world quests are pretty easy. Ah. The other game that I got into a while back was Warframe, because that's free to play. I played that when it was first in like a beta stage and it was a bit meh. But then it's gotten pretty decent now and it's got a very loyal player following. And then they introduced some elements with some surprisingly good story that actually evokes some emotion in how they unlock some of it and reveal some of it. So, well done. Warframe, not bad. It's still very repetitive though. That's my only frustration with it. There, it lags even on your good tablet and it takes 26 gigs of data to install. Oh yeah, that's pretty chonky. But all the good games are massive, right? And stage to catch up with all the events, you need quite a lot of time, so it's not all... Ah, yeah, it's not all for yes. Yep, gotcha. But that means there's just lots of longevity for you to enjoy it. I've not figured out how I want to wash this yet. Okay, maybe we can do these roof areas like so. Ka-ching! Alright, if it gets to... It's probably going to... Alright, 10 more minutes of this, and then I think we'll just change over to some show and tell from the holiday, because otherwise we're going to run out of time. And I'm going to get frustrated with this game. It's much better when there's multiplayer. Theo, thank you very much. Thanks for welcoming me back. Thanks for coming along. And thanks for chatting to us. We look forward to catching up with you again in future streams. We get back into the streaming routine. Where's Frosty when you need it? Yeah, I know, right? Frosty's working late, I think she said. So she'll be on a little bit later. Anastasia, it kind of does bug you that some new players are locked out of some content until they get to a certain rank in Genshin, you're talking about, right? New characters require collecting new resources and lore spoilers are confusing for them. Ah. This is where the Elder Scrolls Online did a pretty good job when they sort of I don't know what the right word is. They pivoted and redid how the level and level scaling works, where basically anyone can go and do any content at any time. And just with various level scaling, it all just kind of works. It means that sometimes some of the combat's a little bit floaty. I think that's one of the only downsides to Elder Scrolls Online. The combat and the class system is a little bit wonky to me. But it does work. And I've got multiple characters at a high level. But the fact that everything's accessible, so you can join the game and play with your friends no matter what you're up to and where they're up to, does work. And they turned it around. It was starting to flop as an MMO game and as an entertainment medium. They changed it and they revived it, made it free to play. Pay for the latest content. The latest DLCs require you must buy it or pay for it. And then eventually they go free. And you also pay for some convenience as well. But it's a good balance. It means you can play for quite a while, and then if you like the game, you can choose to support it and buy some convenience items for yourself. Or not, just keep playing for free. And that's where I think Path of Exile does a good job too, because that's a free-to-play game. Diablo style. The only thing is with that, it's quite complex when it comes to character builds, which is still kind of fun when you wrap your head around it or you follow someone else's build guide. Yeah, it is kind of complex. Viva La Dirt League do a skit where they're talking about a guy who's just joined and his friend's ripping on him, trying to help him make choices as to how he's going to level up or spend his perks. Yeah, it was very complex there too. Oh, there's so much dirt on this thing. Oh my god. I thought I was getting pretty close. I was wrong. Vito was right. This is where we need Frosty. And Cookie. And some other random guy who joined once when he was watching on stream. 69% complete. Oh, yeah. Giggity. All right. A few more minutes of this. And then let's do some holiday show and tell. Hopefully Lyrium and Frosty will come along and be able to see some of it. Giggity indeed. Vito's on it. He loves it. Thank you, Vito. Oh, so many little bits under here. Ching, ching. Yes, good. Oh, it's all coming together. This is where the orange highlight doesn't work well, when it's an orangey, yellowy background to start with. These poles, they're rotating too. Some really soaked on stuff. Ooh. Horse rod. Sounds like an innuendo it's in itself. It's full of the Rona. Oh, it's full of something. Look at these intricate, tiny, little annoying pieces. I like big, easy to wash things, not little things that have graffiti and other baked on stuff. But there's only just now I've realized I probably should have done vertical mode for some of these poles. Be way more effective. Somehow this pole is still... Ugh, now this is getting frustrating. Take a look at the roof. Chunk. This scaffolding is a must-have. For sure. Wow, this is pretty stacked on too. I thought this was going to be easy to come off. Apparently not. Wow, this is really tough mold or something. If you can press the button for a few seconds before offing it again so the dirty part of the horse rods show up. So many innuendos. All the innuendos in your endo. All right. I think I've almost reached my limit of power washing solo. We need the likes of Frosty or Cookie. All right, how about we do some holiday pics and clips and show and tells and storytelling, supported by Grizz in the chat to also bring some lols and banter and point out things that I missed. How about we do that? So Anastasia confirmed this will save progress. So if I quit, it should all be there. All right. Cool. So the other thing I need to do is to bring up maps. That's what we need. Maps dot. Oh, come on. Alrighty. So for the last couple of weeks, we have been away adventuring. Let us search to the painted desert. But this is where we were planning to go. This is where Griznak pulled together a plan for us to go and visit the painted desert. There you go. There's a cool picture there. And I've got some cool pictures as well. So it's a 2-week adventure, effectively, where we would go through... Where is it? Over here somewhere. The Flinders Ranges. So what we'll do is, let's say, so most of us live in Melbourne in the trip, and then we were making our way to, it was Coolamon, wasn't it, Grizz? Coolamon Campground, Flinders Ranges. Cool, this is the first area we stayed, and the first part of the trip is getting there. Now, I and my parents, what was it? Adelaide. My parents and myself decided we would visit Sparkle Sauce in Adelaide because she lives here. The rest of the crew started in Melbourne, or one guy started in New South Wales. and had them make their way to Coolmont. Anyway, so the start of the trip, we're in different places. And that's the first leg. So to start with, first, let me introduce you to what is called the Gypsy Wagon. This here has been nicknamed the Gypsy Wagon. This is a camp trailer that my brother, Sparkle Sauce's brother, built. He is a builder. He can also weld a little bit, but he's also one of our friends from high school, used to be a welder. So between the two of them, over the course of about 4 weeks back in April, built this trailer. The Gypsy Wagon, as it's called, was to serve as the main port of hospitality for kitchen and sleeping for myself and the grand sauces, as Sparkle Sauce calls them, our parents. So yeah, it's pretty well done. There are pieces of roughness about it, but it's very functional. And then this is basically my mum and dad with their car loaded up before they trekked across. This is my car, ready and geared up to go. So for the first week, the first half of the trip, my parents, the grand sauces, as my sister calls them, they were going to be there. So they were going to be towing the trailer to start with. Then halfway through, my off-road bar here comes off. That was going to be fitted to my dad's ute, and then I would tow the Gypsy Wagon from there. So, on the way to Adelaide, there was an omen. We encountered a dark omen, which was some weird rain and a shitload of wind. I've never complained so much driving as I did at the start, because there was so much wind and rain blasting into us halfway across. So what's this? This is 3:30 in the afternoon. So this is, yeah, 3/4 of the way across to Adelaide from Melbourne to visit Sparkle Sauce. Not a great start, but it's okay because we're not camping yet. That's not rain. We had rain. Oh, we're getting to that, Grizz. Sounds like your weekend with Hurricane Ian. Oh, Vito, I'm assuming your experience was even worse than what we had to deal with, both here in the travel across and when we were in the outback as well. But if you look at the clouds here too, right? But dark, horrible, rainy clouds, and then nice blue, bright bits to the side. That was very consistent all the way through in that the weather was not consistent. See, a short while later, so this is 15-20 minutes later, looking out the back camera from the car, look, rainbow! Oh, stopped raining, the sun is out, and we've got a rainbow displayed. But yes. And of course, Vito, Grizz is right, we would absolutely not cheapen the pain and the experience that comes with dealing with a real hurricane with what we had to deal with. So yes, no, worry you not. We have full respect for the hurricane that Florida had to deal with in the recent week or so. Anyway, so then we move on to, whilst we were in Adelaide, we just thought we'll get some extra supplies, go to the shops, and then we're at the shops. I noticed my dad had a screw in his tire. Also not a great omen. Nevertheless, we took the screw out, and there was a very, very slow air leak. So we said, fuck it, and just put the screw back in, and it stopped the leak. So we just left it in there. So Vito, you only caught the outskirts of Hurricane Ian. That is good. Great to hear. Whilst we were in Adelaide, obviously I had to bug and pester Sparkle Sauce's cat, Teddy, because he is very chill. He doesn't give a fuck about very much. And it used to be just a thing every Christmas. I would walk straight in, pick him up, cuddle him and harass him, because he is a cool dude. And so I took a whole bunch of photos, and then I always try and imitate whatever face he's pulling as well, just for the lols. But Teddy, he's so cute, he's so cuddly. And and there we are. Okay, so eventually, where was my map? Over here on the map. So when we got to Peterborough, so we actually came across to Peterborough here and then back up this way in order to meet up with the rest of the crew. So we did that, and we also went through Jamestown. So we did a loop a bit like that. So we traveled a little bit further so we could meet up with Grizz and the rest of the crew. So Peterborough, we all collaborated. This is where the two convoys formed one convoy. And so my Mama Sparkle Sauce took this picture, and there is the four of us in front of the fifth car being my mum and dad. And then as we near, eventually we get off-road and we're near the campgrounds. We're doing a whole bunch of off-roading. So now it's time to let tire pressures down, considering we're going to be mostly off-road for the next week or so. So tire pressures come down, gives you better grip, reduces the risk of puncture and tire damage, and also makes the ride a little bit smoother when you've got lots of bumps and corrugations and such. So there we are, we all aired down for that. And then this is a shot from the campsite. Go the dirt path, phrasing. That's right. You gotta live a little, right, Grizz? So this is one of the views from our first campground in Coolamon. So if you can sort of visualize, there's multiple little vehicle camp spots sort of laid out. If I go into a bigger view, sort of laid out along this side of this track here. This track sort of goes to the left about another 200 meters. There's a couple of campsites along. We're all spread out along. So looking out from the campsite, this is the view we get. Very inviting, awesome view. Very welcoming to our first part of the trip. Clear skies and sun, beautiful weather. This is some random tree I took a photo of somewhere. I can't remember where that was, but that was near the campgrounds as well. I tried to be artistic, take some ladybug shots. There's really cool wildflowers that happen out there too. So this is not Patterson's Curse, aka Salvation Jane. This is some other purpley flower I don't recognize, but I thought it was pretty. And emus. I have never seen so many emus as we encountered on this trip. And what's the deal with them all having so many babies? Because it's springtime, so it's baby raising season. All the babies are out, but we saw many emus, and the many emus we saw all had a big bunch of baby emus, little babies like this. There's so many of them. I don't know where they all come from. How is one emu looking after so many? Anyway, our first, exciting, emus. But we saw emus constantly, every day, all the way through. But they are very cute. The babies are very cute. The adults, not quite as cute. Just don't upset them too much. And yeah, they're fine. At least they're not cassowaries. Cassowaries, they'll kill you. Whereas an emu will just hurt you a bit. There's some old hut nearby, so we did a bit of a walk. Did a bit of a little mini hike through the wilderness, walking paths, little hut thing there. Some old ruins of nearby homestead that was there. Climbed some mountainy stuff that was there. The Flinders Ranges National Park is where we're hanging out. When a mama emu and a dada emu love each other, then apparently when the babies hatch, or maybe even the eggs, the daddy emu does all the parenting. Is that right? Did I get that right, Grizz? It's like the inverse of what usually happens in planet Earth wildlife. But anyway, there you go. So we're in the Flinders Ranges, getting some views. My dad and I climbed further up a hill that was there, which had a walking path on it, because there's a long multi-day hike path that people can go on. Look, Dad, I'm not doing that, but it did lead us up the top here, which is kind of cool. So people have put a couple of plaques up here in remembrance of certain people. I don't know who Simon or Harry were, but good on them. And there's just another angle of those mountains we saw before. That Modern Family says, bright. Emus, they're so modern. Here's a sign about the hut area that was there. Now, someone was asking about night sky shots. I think it might have been Sparkle Sauce. I only did a couple. By the time nighttime came around every day, I was pretty knackered, so I just wasn't really motivated to try and do too much. Plus, I didn't have a proper computer with me to try and analyze it and look at it, and I kind of forgot how to do it. This is one of the better ones I did. It's okay. The stars are not quite as focused as I would like. There's a little bit of blur on some of the stars, just from the planetary rotation, because if anyone who's done night photography knows, you got to set your camera up on a tripod and then let it have the shutter open for like multiple seconds. Once you start going over 20 seconds, you start getting little streaks because it picks up the very slight movement the Earth has in its rotation. And so I think most of these are 20 with some, maybe I think this shot might have been from 20 seconds. So even that sometimes is a bit too long because you get a little bit of blur or streaking of some of the stars. Like some of these here are not perfect dots. They're a tiny bit streaky. However, anyway, yes, the stars out in the middle of the desert and in the wilderness are amazing. They were so good to look up at. And because we had, what's the opposite of a full moon? Waning moon? Or new moon? Whatever it is. We had very little moonlight, which also meant the sky looked amazing. The stars were very vivid. Light pollution in England. Oh, light pollution everywhere. Even in some of the rural areas in Australia, you still get light pollution bleeding from the cities that are a couple 100 kilometers away. Sparkle Sauce, you're missing sky photos. Yes, you are. Oh, you'll have to watch this later. But I would have liked to have done some more sky photography, but I just didn't have the time or the patience or the headspace because I hadn't done any photography in a couple of years, so I was a bit rusty on everything. So what happened next? All right, then we went for a bit of a drive. We went for a bit of a driving tour, some off-road stuff. Let's see some of the local sites, which includes the remnants of an old copper mine, which admittedly was a little bit underwhelming. This was probably the most interesting thing to look at there. That was kind of cool. I thought I'd get all arty with that and get some good color capturing happening there. Next time we'll do more photos. We will, Grizz. We will. There's a sign from the thing, and that's pretty much it for the mine because it was windy as hell whilst we were climbing around. So here's a picture of where things used to be, but where we climb up there today, it's all bare, it's all missing. So there's only like stumps in the ground as remnants of the buildings that were there. So we're like, oh, let's move on. I didn't take this picture. Someone else in the group took this picture of the dark clouds in the distance. Those are some dark clouds out there. Are they near our campsite? Not sure. Let's just continue adventuring, shall we? So I think I got some dash cam footage of some of the off-roading. So Grizz led us through some local trails, which took us through some foresty areas and some riverbed areas, which is kind of cool. And considering we're on the edge of the desert, there's still a lot of trees and stuff around. But we're still inside we're in the southern end of the Flinders Ranges, which is a small mountain range. So there are still a lot of greenery around, even though you can see sort of the red dirt, which is synonymous with the Australian desert. You love the riverbeds. They were so cool to drive in. I agree, Grizz. There is a clip soon of us going through some riverbeds. Oh, there you go. There's Grandpapa Sauce. There's my dad, mine and Sparkle Sauce's dad over there. I don't know what he was looking at, but we thought we'll do a pose here with some of the cars. Mum and Dad traveled in my car for this, so their ute isn't here. Kiwi Cajun is also on. Welcome, man. Thanks for dropping in. So we took some pictures with the cars. You always get to do some car shots. There were more car shots we did later. And then there was we stopped here because there's a bunch of ruins from an old sandstone farmstead of some kind. It was pretty big in size. So I took some decent shots there. In my head, I was thinking, yes, this area has suffered greatly under the Oblivion Crisis. If anyone gets that, good job. All right, so Grandpapa Sauce is good at finding things. Seb's brother is also, who was also on the trip, Grizz's brother, who was on the trip, also was good at finding little treasures. But my dad found an old rusted needle, which was kind of cool. I have no idea how he found it. He found a needle in a stone stack, and then the same with an old blacksmith nail as well. And he found some barbed wire. I don't have any photos of the barbed wire though, Grizz, but he was good at finding old stuff. Tetanus, anyone? Yeah, I know. Just don't touch the pointy bit. You can kind of see here there's some of the wind is brewing and there's some water on the windscreen. So we've started to encounter on our way away from these ruins, looping further around the track before we come home. Little bits of sprinkles of rain come through, but then there's still bits of blue sky in the distance. But yep, still very cool terrain and scenery to work our way through. Some more shots of just the rocks that are the mountains of the Flinders Ranges. So the ranges themselves, the mountain range is not, it's not huge. It's not that tall. It's not like trying to compare it with like the Rockies or something like that. But they are very beautiful, and they're all made of various rocks that have just been pushed up out of the ground on all kinds of angles. And that's where you see lots of cool things like this along the way. Very rich in color. You get a lot of greens of the trees and the bushes, and then the nice reds and oranges that contrast that with the rocks and the dirt. I think there's just some more stuff. Driving through the forest, little bits of rain, nothing too much to worry about, but not going too fast either because the terrain's a little bit bumpy. Where did we get to next? Here we go. Some riverbed stuff. This was really cool. We saw lots of beautiful scenery through this riverbed, even though some of the terrain was very rough and we had to go slow through it. But this was really cool. So the road itself, so we're driving on an actual track. It's not just, we're not just making this up as we go. This is an actual track. It actually goes through the riverbed. So I'm guessing this river doesn't flow often, possibly only during like a rain season or something like that. But a lot of the riverbeds and creek beds that we encounter through this whole area, they're all dry. Sparkle Sauce, yes, you are missing it. I warned her she was going to be missing some of the holiday chats. All recorded. I'll type that. Okay, so as we went in, then I think it was Grizz or Grizz's wife decided, hey, let's do she wanted to get a photo of the car by the rocks, and so we're like, oh yeah, we all want to do that too. Now I still need to do a bit of development on this. The colors aren't quite sitting right. I still need to tune it a little bit, but I've just thrown in the photos that I've taken so far. So there's my car, Grizz's brother's car, and then there's this tree. This dummy thick tree. This tree better stop playing. Grizz's wife. So it's Grizz's wife's idea to take photos here. She remembered the area. That's right, because Grizz and Grizz's wife have actually been through here before. And this was a fantastic spot. This is a beautiful drive through here. I would definitely do this again. But yeah, the butt tree. Lucky it's not No Nut in November. And then Grizz's ute is here. I took a couple photos from a couple of angles. Grizz, I'm going to be doing some more photo editing and tweaking and developing to try and make these look a bit nicer. And there's another one I've got of your card later with some of the desert peas that I'll also do some editing on. So I'm going to make some good photos for you, dude. It might be worthy. This is an awesome tree that we saw. And I'm like, I have to get a photo of you. So this is a white gum, I think, that has been either blown apart from a lightning strike and then just continued to grow onwards. I know that sometimes originally with a lot of trees in certain areas a long time ago, the Aboriginals used to sort of carve, need to change my English, used to sort of carve and burn out parts of trees to get planks of wood for building canoes. Now, that's not going to be the case here because there's no water for canoeing in. But sometimes in parts of Australian forests, if you encounter some really old trees, you might see where Aboriginals may have carved out canoes for use in either lagoons or rivers, etc. But anyway, yeah, this tree, amazing. It's been struck by lightning or something and still continued to survive and grow. Loved it. There we go. Now when you are traversing through the outback in Australia, you will constantly come across, or constantly is not the right word, you will frequently, every now and again, you will encounter some kind of old car that is rusted out and burnt out, just in the middle of nowhere, and it's a great photo opportunity. This, yeah, Vito's right. Our new car, that's right. Who wants a new car? But this has got to be like 50s era, 40s or 50s era, right? This is really old. I mean, a lot of the cars you encounter in the outback are sort of like, 10 years old or 20 years old, which is not that impressive. But if this is like 70 or 80 years old, this is awesome. Bring it home to restore it, and it'll buff out, right? Should be right. No, that is severely munted. But it's still very cool when you come across these things. But when I did a Simpson desert trip back in 2015, same thing. We encountered multiple cars like this along the way, but I don't think any were this old. So this was pretty cool. Now we were driving some more. I think we were out of the hardcore four-wheel drive track and onto the faster dirt road at this stage. It's 5 o'clock, that's right. And we're trying to head out, and there's some blue sky, some sunlit clouds, lovely. And then over here, there is dark, grey, ominous clouds. So once again, we're like, not sure what's going to happen with this weather, but let's just continue on. Nothing else we can do. Let's just keep an eye on it. But in the meantime, you still get some interesting desert scenery as we go through here. There you go. There you can really see some of the dark clouds. And what looks like some rain falling over here too, potentially. But then, yeah, it's just bipolar weather. Then you've got blue sky and sunlit clouds over here. At least we know where it is for next time. That's it, Vito. We'll go back. Next time we'll bring an empty trailer or ute to bring back the car so we can restore it. Eventually we need to refuel. So we stopped here to refuel, go to the toilet, etc. I think it was a little private station. Anyway, they had a sign, no, real people only, no yuppies. Now, yuppie is now kind of a very outdated term. I don't know if it was just an Australian term used in the 90s, 80s and 90s. Basically, yuppie used to stand for young upcoming professional, which is kind of like a city slicker who is a bit like sort of detached, or like a, a Gen Z or whatever, who just had no real practical life skills or country skills or survival skills. The term I haven't heard in like, I don't know, 20 years or something. But anyway, I thought the sentiment was funny. Basically, no rich snobby wankers, only real people. Don't be a flog. And that hence the Discord chat and discussion that happened with us trying to define the sparkle sauce and I trying to define it. Yuppies are the people who think they're too good for the outback. They're people who think they're too good for a lot of things, but yes. And they would absolutely not survive in the outback if they were left to their own devices. So it's like, they think they're too good for it, but in fact, they would not cope well at all. All right, let's change this track. Give us something better. There we go. Right, cool. We continue driving on from there, and eventually we get onto the dirt roads that lead back into our camp. By this stage, we are well and truly in the thick of those grey clouds. By this stage, we are encountering very heavy rain. By this stage, there are massive puddles everywhere on the ground. We don't know what we're going to be coming back to when we get back to camp. None of us have been there. None of us have been there to look after anything. We're assuming the campsites aren't washed away, but they're going to be wet. And there is so much rain and water and mud everywhere. So we're just like, all right, well, we're just having a bit of a laugh. We're warning each other on the radio about the different obstacles, the different puddles and things like that, the different terrain. You can see my speed here is fluctuating between sort of 30 and 50 kilometers an hour. And Itchy Knees, you're back. You wrap up to this message. Thank God I'm more of a bogan than a yuppie. Oh, me too. Me too, Itchy Knees. That's why we get along so well. You're absolutely not a yuppie. It was a tad moist. It was moist indeed. Holy balls, was it moist. That's going to zoom out a little bit. Ah, such moistness. So this was... Oh, that's right. I got another clip here of us driving in. Holy crap. It was just so wet. One of the other guys actually got a really good video clip of them driving along. So it's him, his wife, and his daughter. Now, I haven't included it here because that's their business. That's not something that we'll be posting randomly on the internet. But they got some good footage using his phone and some good commentary from the 7-year-old. It was hilarious. One of my favorite clips I've now watched from this entire trip. But yeah, it is very heavy rain. The windscreen wipers are on max right here. They don't go any harder. They don't go any faster. And considering them in the morning when we drove out, all of this was bone dry. There was no water anywhere when we left in the morning. So this was a very heavy storm burst. And there'd previously been some heavy rain, I think the week or two before, in a lot of areas. It caused some minor flooding in some certain spots, as well as damage to some of the roads. And you can see here the roads are being damaged as we speak, as we drive on them. It's so filthy moist. You're correct, because basically after this day, there is this covering of mud and dirt on my bonnet that stays there for the rest of the trip. So someone took a picture. Is this a clip? There's a little clip. Oh, there you go. And a little bit of sound. So this is, I think, one of the river crossings on this road as you drive out. It's now been washed away on the edges, but fortunately we don't need to drive down this bit here. However, the road we drove through just before, and in fact, I think I saw it in one of the clips, has been completely washed out. If I jump back to one of these clips had that crossing in it. Thought it did because I checked it earlier. Might be the other one. Might have been this one. Let's see. See if I can find it. Either that or it was the other guy's video clip. Might not have been my dash cam. It might have been his phone footage I was looking at. Yeah, okay. That was his phone footage. All right. Anyway, point being, this here, this is the road out of the campground. And it's also the road we were just driving on, which is still didn't have any issues. So all the water falling had flown through here and eroded this. It created a small cliff. Now that cliff is about 1.25 feet high, and it was right the way across. So in the morning, we are packing up to then travel to the next campground. We're moving to the northern Flinders Ranges. So we've packed up, we're driving out. 2 cars went ahead to just because they were ready, and they were going to, I think they were going to get some photos of the river crossings and things like that. So they're going ahead, they were going to meet us a bit later. They didn't get very far before they were forced to meet us again. So as we were driving closer, we heard them on the radio. I'm like, oh, what's going on? Oh, yeah, well, we've got something. You'll see it. You'll see me when we get here. We're waiting for you. I'm like, okay, what's happened? Oh, not too much. Don't worry. There's a bit of a crossing we need to deal with. So eventually we caught up to them, and this is what we're dealing with. So they came down this, and this is where it's really frustrating because photos and videos don't do a lot of adventuring justice because this is quite steep and it's all mud and all slippery. So they came down this with their camp trailer on with a ledge, and just sort of launched into it. Fortunately, they didn't damage anything. Grizz's brother also came down it, was unable to stop, and he went over the edge too. And the little carry bar he was carrying at the back of his four-wheel drive flattened this out and created a bit of a divot there. Anyway, this is kind of, again, it doesn't quite do justice.
We are recording.
So this is where you can sort of see where it comes down. So what we did is my dad had the idea to use the gutter around the edge here. So you can see me doing some shoveling. So we're going to use the gutter to guide the wheels down, and we shoveled all of this out here to try and make a smooth exit. So my dad's towing here the gypsy wagon, which is very heavy. So we got to try and get him down the mud and out safely without breaking stuff. My car and Grizz's car are both still up here.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go. You can see him come down. Whoa, skating time. Locking up the wheels.
Well done.
Bit of a thump, but got it done. Well done. So yeah, we did a lot of preparation and a lot of chatter on the radio to get through that one. But yeah, very impressive. So next up was my turn. So now this is me coming down. Let's skip through some of the banter. Here we go.
No.
So I didn't have all the weight to tow down like some of the others did. So that's why we sent my dad down first, so it didn't get all chewed up when I was coming down. But because I wasn't trying to stop a big 1.5 ton trailer, for me, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Oh. I even missed the rock.
Round of applause. Oh, I forgot to warn everyone. Apologies. There's naked ears. There's naked ears in this video. Whilst everyone's decent and I've mostly hidden other people's faces, my face is visible in some of these clips and videos, as well as my ears. And in fact, some of my shoulders as well. So that was pretty well done. And then I think we've got Grizz coming down. Yes. Let's watch Grizz come down.
And you
Bit of banter at the start. There we go. Come on, Grizz. Where is it?
show off.
Driving on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, we were. Road is road, Vito, when we're dealing with this, but it you can see how boggy it is now. But yeah, Grizz came down. And you can still see the dark, ominous clouds in the background here too.
They skidded a bit at the start. That's where we started to skid.
Yeah, you can see our skid line.
But yeah, super glad we didn't launch off this at like, you know, 40, 50 k's an hour like some of the others did, because all you can see is their skids as they could not stop. But Grizz masterfully comes down here. Grizz has got a lot of weight in the back of his car too. He's got his entire camp set up in the back there, whereas I don't have that in the back of mine, because a lot of my camp utility is in the gypsy wagon being towed by my dad. But yeah, nice. The mighty Ranger was flawless. You had an excellent execution, Grizz. Well done. All right, and then just to show further on, this was the roads as we got closer to northern Flinders where we were staying. Nice and dry, no water. Few puddles here and there on the edge. But you can also see now how the bonnet of my car, the hood of my car, is completely brown. This was a white car. now it's a brown car. But you can still see where some crossings like this are pretty rough and have been cut up a bit. Although, because I don't have too much weight to worry about, I'm still flying through them a bit compared to everyone else. Oh, look out, coggies. No birds were harmed or hit during this trip, which was good as well. Now, this is the kind of road service that we were wanting to be dealing with all the time. Nice and dry and safe and fast. Because every time we had to deal with some of these terrain issues, that delayed us in our travels, which meant getting to the next camp later, which meant potentially setting up in the dark if you're not careful. So driving along, here is Grizz, and here is my dad, Papa, Grand Sauce, and the gypsy wagon. We must have just stopped for some random reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe there was a photo or something, but anyway. Now these desert peas, Grizz in particular pointed it out to us, and we all stopped to take some photos because they can be a bit rare sometimes, but we did encounter them a few times. They're a weird kind of flower, but yeah, they're called desert peas. They look pretty cool, and they contrast quite strongly compared to the rest of the scenery, right? There you go, Grizz. There's your ute in the background with some peas. I'll take some editing efforts into that as well. Now this, so in the northern Flinders we stayed at, oh, I should have pointed on the map, hang on, where, whoop, that's not the right one either. So we went from Coolamon to, what was it? Tootler Campground. So we went from here all the way up and around through here. Now it says 2.5 hours to travel. It's more like 3.5 due to the terrain plus the other delays that we had with the crossing. And then we also stopped in towns for lunch and stuff. So I think it was probably nearly 4 hours of traveling this day to go from the southern end of the ranges to the northern end. So yes, at Wetootler, nearby there was a ranger station. So the campgrounds thus far all have no shower facilities or bathroom facilities. They do have drop toilet facilities, which is great. And they're the best drop toilets I've ever seen. So that was kind of impressive as well. It's kind of weird to compliment an area on their toilets, but anyway. Here nearby our campground, there was a ranger station which had shower facilities where you could pay to go and have a shower. We all did that considering we hadn't actually showered for 3 or 4 days. Whilst there, I noticed there's a cute lizard. So I took some photos of him. Further up north, there is a little village. It's called Arkarula Village. There's a Arkarula Village, which is a little bit further up. So this is a very small village. Actually has power and mobile phone reception there. So I think this is the first place where we're like, oh, we've got a bit of reception. So we uploaded a few photos and stuff onto Discord at this time. So that was cool. So I just took a few photos of this village because they had a few things on display I thought looked pretty cool. Wet wipes are fine, Grizz. They are. And that's how we showered for the first couple of days. But eventually, I want me some hot water. my inner city slicker or yuppiness comes out. I want showers. Despite the fact, even though I grew up on a farm and it was always dirty, we still had showers. I don't mind getting dirty. I'm happy to go adventuring, doing any kind of rough and tumble. I end up with dirt and cuts and grazes and marks all over my hands. That's all good as long as I can eventually shower. But there we go. So there's some more photos. Some more roadside photos. Oh, and a clip. I don't remember where we were. That's right. This is us returning from Arkarula Village back to our campground. And as we returned, because we'd all been away from the campground, we came back. You can see some of the camp stuff set up. You can see here, this is where my mum and dad had their inflatable tent set up. And over here to the left is the gypsy wagon set up. And very shortly, there is another emu coming across. And Lyrium is back. Well, welcome back, Lyrium T. So where is this? There it is. There's an emu wandering very close to our camp, but didn't give us any grief. I think I had another small clip here. Yes, there we go. Emu just walking on by, minding its own business. Nearby to the camp, we had, this looks like what was a bit of a creek bed, which also had some cool wildflowers and desert flowers, and a camouflage grasshopper thing. I'd never seen that before, so I took a picture of that. Some more beautiful wildflowers. These things are weird. They're not flowers. They're like weird veiny leaves. No idea what it's called, but does make for nice photos. So that's what we've done there. And this is very cute too. Little tiny little white flowers. Also very cute. I'll turn some of those into some more of my photography shots. Follow me on Ollie's Pixels on Instagram if you want to see my photography. I have not done photography stuff for quite a while. Maybe I should pull that up right now. Instagram. Oh, come on. Typing under pressure. Ollie's Pixels. So this is my Instagram where I've previously posted photography. I am very inconsistent. I haven't posted for quite a while, but I will again eventually. That's where you can see some of my other stuff. And you can see I like doing sort of some close-ups of detailed stuff like, you know, animals and flowers and things like that. So some of these will make their way into there eventually. Then we did some more exploring. Mine shafts nearby. Now these flowers here, these are beautiful. However, eventually all of these fluffy white bits drop off and they become sticky burrs or prickles like what we were talking about earlier. So all of these become prickles, and in the northern part of the Flinders Ranges where we are here, there are prickles and burrs and spurs everywhere. You cannot, you put your foot on the ground, you lift it up, there is something stuck underneath it, a whole bunch of them. Anyway, and then there's these weird little desert berries, which I'm 90% sure are going to be poisonous as well. Nearly everything is poisonous. Oh, there's an arty shot I took too. There you go. Nearby was this other weird wall called the ochre wall, because it's full of ochre, which is like this weird soft stone. So what you can do is you can sort of, it's like a soft chalk kind of texture. So you can actually rub it and then come off and then sort of, you know, paint with it effectively. All this purpley colored stuff is like a soft chalky rock. Yeah. Oh, Lyrium, what was the weather like? Oh, rewind the stream about 5 minutes and you can see what the weather was like. Most of the weather was like this, but we did have one epic downpour which turned everything to mud. But fortunately it was only for one day and one night. That night, however, was windy as hell, so we're all hunkered in our tents, but no one got much sleep, because whenever the wind would come through, it would just shake the shit out of everything. And then it would stop and it'd be calm and quiet. Then you could hear it in the distance. You could hear the wind going through the trees in the distance. The wind would sort of wave through the leaves of the trees in the distance, getting closer and closer and closer. And then eventually it hits you. So it's so strange. You could hear it coming. You could hear a gust coming. And then bam, it hits and just shakes the shit out of everything at like, you know, 3 a.m. and then stops. So we were all constantly being woken up that night. That was not a good night. So the day when we were driving to up here from the trip from here, from Coolamon to Wetutla, our new campgrounds, that was a bit of a hard day because it's a bit of a long drive and it's very active driving. There's not much opportunity for things like cruise control and one-handed driving. No, a lot of it's two-handed driving because it's off-road, rough terrain, etc. We were very tired by the end of it. That night, Grandpapa Sauce, Sparkle Sauce, and mine, our dad, who was sleeping in a tent nearby, but he was still like, I don't know, 20 meters away. He was snoring like a chainsaw. He was so tired. So you could see when we drove in. See when we drove into camp here. Does it show it? Not too far. Too far back here. So there's Mum and Dad's tent. And over here is the gypsy wagon where I was sleeping, but holy balls, that man can snore, and he did, but everyone was very tired. But fortunately, we all got a good sleep that night and back into action for this day. Now, our mum wanted to do a scenic flight. That's one of the things she's always wanted to do, is a scenic flight over the Flinders Ranges. So that is what myself, Bright, and the grandparent sources did, is where we went for a scenic flight. A lot of the photos are not very good because we're in a small plane. Actually, where is the picture of the small plane? It must be down here somewhere. Oh, I forgot to put it in. All right, there was a small plane. I forgot to include it in here. But anyway, we're in that. And we got to see some cool stuff up high of the mountain ranges from above, including the nearby salt lake called Lake Frome. That had some cool stuff. Now, what was really weird and interesting Lyrium T, Papa's snores keep the drop bears away. That they do. They keep everything away with that torrential noise. So now, what the pilot was explaining to us. So this is a massive, massive salt lake, right? And it's really dry at the moment because they've been in a drought for like 15 years up in this area. So you can see all the white snow. Who's flying the plane? Some local tour guide pilot dude. His name was Doug, and he could have been anywhere from the age of 55 to 75. I have no idea. But he was a good pilot. He liked to talk, and he gave us some good info and some good stories. This is a blurry pic. I didn't realize how blurry it was until I put it in here. But what he was explaining to us, out here, I'm not sure if it's out here. It might have been further back, but you can see some brown lines, right? Now, I'm not sure if it's this spot or the spot we'd already passed by this stage. You think, oh, that's just mud and dust. That's a fair assumption because there is another spot where there's a whole bunch of brown stuff where there was a massive dust storm, like in the 2000s or something, and then it rained on the dust storm and all that dust fell into a massive mud heap. So there's a big patch of this lake which is tarred with brown mud. That's not it. What some of these brown areas are, which looks a bit like this. So that there is part of an island. There's very small, shallow islands all over the lake. Then there's these weird rings around parts of the island and parts of the shoreline. And they are, in fact, locusts from 1992. So in 1992, 93, there was a locust plague. For some reason, that meant that a whole absolute shit ton of them died in the lake. I don't know if they went down for water and then because it's salt water instead of fresh water, whether it just killed them or what. But the salt has preserved them. So in 1992, an absolute literal tons of locusts crash landed or just died in the lake and have now been preserved in the salt of the lake for like nearly 30 years. And apparently in 1993, there were plans to try and dig up some of these and then sell them to parts of, where was it? Was it Iraq or Iran or Afghanistan? Some parts of the Middle East or something, as like an aphrodisiac kind of thing. But then one of the Gulf Wars kicked off in like 93, 94, so that completely killed that. But anyway, there's still all of these locusts, tons of dead locusts from 30 years ago, preserved here. What the hell? Delenn, you heard they taste good. Gross. Well, that was what the plan was, to get some of them and sell it, apparently. It's going to be a cultivated delicacy. 30-year-old preserved locust. Gross. No, thank you. Anyway, yes. So that salt locust storm is the same age as you, Lyrium. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? Ridiculous. Aging like a fine wine. This is some Jurassic Park bullshit right here. That's what that is. So Itchy Knees, I missed your comment. Aren't I afraid of heights? Yes, I am. However, I don't have an issue with flying. So either in a big plane or a small plane, my fear of heights doesn't kick in. Because for me, I think there's something abstract. Once I get over a certain height, and if I'm moving, I don't really have it. If I'm on a tall balcony or a tall building, I'll have it kick in. Because there's something about it that means I could fall, whereas in a plane, apparently I can't fall, so no fear of heights? I don't know. My dad also has a fear of heights, worse than I do, and he was sitting in front of me in the plane, so he also doesn't have an issue either. Chris, you new way of explaining your age. How old are you, Lyrium? I'm as old as the salt-preserved locust plague of Lake Frome. Now, if we look on the map, it's going to be... I don't want to do this. Get rid of that. Let's see if I punch it in here. What's it do? This is it here. So we did a bit of a flight. So there's Akarula Village. There's the Ochra Wall that I talked about with the dark rock chalky bits. There's an airstrip here. So we flew out around down here. around parts of the lake and some of the islands, and then back and landed over here. There's also a massive 6 foot or 6.5 foot high dingo fence, which goes for thousands of kilometers, which we could see briefly at one point as well. But anyway. So it's really good because you and your dad can travel okay. That's true. Our fear of heights is manageable because we can travel. Even if we did have a fear of heights, it still would not stop us from traveling in a plane. Interestingly, last year, I think, my mum wanted to do hot air ballooning for Mother's Day or for her birthday. Can't remember which one it was. But anyway, we did that. And it was a little tough for me because it's hot air ballooning. It's a mix of flying in a plane and standing on a tall balcony. It was a little bit of a challenge, but it was still very cool, and I'm still glad I did it. Did not see any dingoes, Lyrium. Did not see any foxes. Grizz saw a rabbit that he nearly hit in the rain. But that was it. Mostly, it was kangaroos, wallabies, and emus. That's all we saw. Some of these little islands in the lake are pretty cool. So here's some of the Flinders Ranges we can see on our way back. All right, so there's a story to this that's shown up in the wrong spot. So after this campsite, my mum and dad, the grand sources, are heading home. They can't stay for the whole trip. They've got other commitments. So we switch over. So it's time for me to now tow the gypsy wagon and for my dad to have my off-road bar and to drive home. Oh, you saw a fox, Grizz. Awesome. No, I didn't. I was not blessed enough to see such a thing. So we've all packed up and away we go. I hear a radio message from my dad saying, oh, can you check around our campsite? I've lost my wedding ring. I'm like, oh, geez. So I had a look around the campsite, couldn't find it. Grizz came to look around the campsite. He couldn't find it. And then Grizz's brother, who we nicknamed Eagle Eyes because he's just good at finding random treasures. Him and his kids came, couldn't find it. So I assume, look, it's either gone, it's lost. It's possible he's lost his wedding ring in his car. It's possible he lost it at a different spot. No idea what it could be. We couldn't find it. So it wasn't until a few days later, I think we're on our way home, when my mum sent this message. He had found his wedding ring in one of the most dadly of dadliest ways. So it had come off. He'd been temporarily wearing it on his pinky because he had some swelling on his fingers and he was very busy with like the packing and stuff. But effectively, his wedding ring was safe, sitting snug up on his roof rack. On his roof rack is where it was, and it stayed there. Where's another picture of his damn car? So here he is. This is his ute. So when he was packing his roof rack here, because like a dad, he ties the shit down out of everything so nothing ever moves. And so he lost his wedding ring on his roof rack when he was tucking some stuff in. It made it like 1,500 kilometers home. Or 1,000 kilometers home from there back to their house in the high country in Victoria. Still there. So when he gradually unpacked his roof rack, he found his wedding ring sitting there nice and snug because that ain't going anywhere. He's tied everything down so tight it ain't going anywhere. So in the most dadly of dadliest ways, he preserved and found his stupid wedding ring. Oh, crazy. Epic. But yeah, so we always, you know, there is the stereotype of dads tying down things so tight that, and then you got to do the obligatory, well, that's not going anywhere when you pull on the ropes. Well, my dad has always been the dadliest of dadly dads when it comes to tying stuff down, to the point where I've had to specifically concentrate to not over tie things down because I'm like, I don't want to overdo it like dad does. Anyway, maybe I should so I can preserve any jewelry that I might be wearing at the time. Anyway. Got the gypsy wagon all packed up, and now it's my turn to tow it for the rest of the trip. Lyrium T, it's like one ring forever going back to its master. That's true. So, not far down the road, as we are now traveling from, we are going from Arkarula. Our intention is to go from from Wheatutla to our next destination is Coward Springs. This is the journey we are attempting to make this day. So what is it? 4.5 hours, 350 kilometers. Yes, that's right. And this is where we had the first challenge with the gypsy wagon. We weren't even very far down the road, but someone had to pull over to check something on their car. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get out. I'm just going to check the trailer. Checking the brakes. I'm like, oh, that's on one side. Yeah, it's a bit hot, but not too hot. That's all right. Go around to the other side because I wanted to check the brakes were working correctly. And, oh, that looks very different. This is a brake drum. There is not supposed to be a gap in the metal here. This metal is part of this metal. Somehow it has become separated. No one knows why. A local mechanic in the area also doesn't know why. I've never seen it before. Very unusual. So we take the wheel off, take the disc brake, the drum brake off. That's me holding it there. It's been perfectly shattered or broken in the ring around there. There you can see me fiddling around. So I just taped up the brake shoes so they didn't fly out everywhere. And you can see here's the metal edge where it's broken. No idea how that's happened, why that's happened. It should not do that. The one on the other side was still working. So from here on, for the rest of the trip, I have one wheel on the trailer that has brakes. So I just turned them down a bit so I didn't break the other one. And just kept driving. It seemed to be okay. So here's the roads as we venture out. Along the way, there's some cool... well, that's not a sculpture, but these weird sculptures on the side of the road, so that was kind of cool. Frosty, how you doing? Welcome. We've gotten to the broken wheel thingy. We have. If anyone wants to see any other details, just rewind on the stream later. I also will be editing this into a video on YouTube, which will have more definition and detail in it. So feel free to watch that in future if you want to as well. I'll be using the base of this stream to create that video, so check it out. So going forwards, some sculptures and stuff, some kind of weird big wheel pedal car kind of thing left there. Here's some robot sculpture, which has like a baby robot and like a flower windmill in the background. I don't know. It's in the middle of nowhere, so you're going to stop and check it out. So we did, checked it out, took some photos. Otherwise, the gypsy wagon's going okay. Vito, you're going to drop off. No worries, man. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for hanging out with us. Really appreciate you coming along. And yeah, we'll talk to you again soon, my man. And Frosty, you're buggered, but good. Better get comfy with some wine. Oh, yes. And then listen to me prattle on for the rest of the holiday trips. All right, so that's all going well. We are getting a bit close to our destination because here we are at Coward Springs. There's a couple of places in the edge of the outback. So one is Coward Springs, where these are natural springs. There are mineral springs, just slowly pumping water to the surface. They are warm, naturally heated springs with various minerals in it. So this place that we stayed at has built a little wooden spa around it. Another spring I've been to is a place called the Dalhousie Springs, and that's like swimming in a little dam or a little lake, which is like 30-something degrees Celsius body temperature springs. So that's pretty cool. So we checked that out. Oh yes, that's right. Took photos of the galah, and then here at one stage we had little birdie sitting on my snorkel, and I think they may have been trying to eat some of the insects that had splattered on the front of the car and the front of the roof rack. Anyway, but yeah, the little the spa looks pretty good. It was, I think it's about 28 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's like a little bit, it's cooler than body temperature, but it wasn't cold. It's kind of like a lukewarm spring here. That was pretty cool. Was it a little hot this time of year? So the days at this stage were getting up to about 30 degrees, I think. And the night's still down to like 6 or 8 degrees Celsius. So a little bit warmer, but not too crazy. As you get further into the desert, you get more of these polarizing weather cycles, whereas during the day, you get up like 35 degrees, but nighttime is still like, 6 or 7 degrees. So it's like hot days and cold nights. Because we're traveling in sort of the springtime of the year, it's not as severe. And I think the warmest we encountered was probably further into the Painted Desert, where it was like 33 degrees, I think, during the day. But it's very dry. So I don't notice the heat at all because I sweat a lot. I have very oily skin. I have very active sweat glands. I just slowly perspire, and because it's so dry, it just evaporates and keeps me cool, as long as I keep sipping on water to keep myself hydrated. Grizz does not like the heat at all, so he probably felt it a bit more than I did, but it's still much better than being like in the tropical areas like up in Queensland, where it's very humid, because there it's very humid in the air, so your sweat doesn't evaporate, so your body keeps sweating more, trying to cool down, and it's very exhausting. But here in the dry parts, sweat works very well. I don't remember where we were walking, but we found a tiny little lizard. This might have been when we were checking out Lake Air or something else. Can't remember. There he is, camouflaged in there. Chris, humidity is your bane. Believe in me, who copes well with heat. I still don't love humidity. Humidity's the worst, yeah. There we go. So this is when we were looking around Lake Air. So Lake Air is a massive salt lake. I think is it one of the largest lake in the world, or biggest salt lake in the world, or something. So we drove back to Lake Air South, I think. We didn't get up to the big lake here, did we? We drove back to this area here. Now, when there's a lot of water, this all sort of flows into be one lake. It's quite dry at the moment, so the lake is sort of broken up into smaller sections right now because it's been in a drought. This is around here where we were, and that's where this was taken. That's where I took some of the Nerds Rule video photos from me drawing it in the sand for all of you when I posted it on Discord, because I was thinking about you all and I was missing you all. I have missed you. I've missed talking to you. I've missed streaming, so I'm glad we're back. I know Sparkle Sauce has been missing everyone too, so she's kicking herself. She's out to dinner tonight and can't be part of this. Looking off to the distance, like, oh, there's some ominous clouds and some more rain. We don't want another stint. However, it went around us. We didn't cop any rain, so that's cool. Another stop on the way back was some old ruins of some of the railway infrastructure, including a cool bridge, which sits here, which goes across a little oasis-type mini river, which I didn't even know was there. So that was pretty cool. At this little railway station area, there was this, like, I don't know, raised table thing with just piles of random rusted rocks, trash, and glass, but still pretty cool to look at. Makes a good photo. Frosty, you missed us too. Oh, I missed chatting with the Fave Nerds. Me too. That's why we're back in action. There's some photos I took of inside the weird derelict kind of building here. I have no idea how it is. Oh, there's a photo of me doing some photos. That's so meta. And you can see it is quite warm because I'm wearing singlet and shorts. Please excuse the baggy attire and the epic beard. I did not shave at all during the, or trim at all during this trip. So it got a bit mighty. This is what's called the Mound Springs. I didn't get very good photos here. This is the top of it. It's like a small hill, which is in fact a mound of dirt pushed out from these springs. So these again is water springs, just slowly bubbling water to the surface constantly, which is also pushing dirt and rock and sediment up to form these small mounds, these large mounds, small hills. There's some sunset action because you get amazing sunsets in the desert, so we all took sunset photos. Here's a couple I took. They come up pretty good. Oh, Frosty, you spied ears. Yes, I warned everyone earlier that not only would they be seeing my face, but there would be naked ears in the mix. Yes, very true. Plus, because it was warm, you also get to see some arms and shoulders from me too, and some calf muscles. So, ooh, apologies everyone for being so risque. Turn away, children. The ears are out. But yes, you do get some amazing sunsets here. I haven't had a chance to do some of my photo development of what I've taken with my real camera, but I'm hoping to get some time over the next week or so. But again, follow my Instagram if you want to see some of these as they come out. Ollie's Pixels. The Nerdedness Instagram is more focused on, you know, the nerd stuff like games and things like that we cover on stream. My photography Instagram is separate. I also have a YouTube channel, but it doesn't have much on it. All right, so the Oodnadatta Roadhouse, the pink Roadhouse. So that is the next, whoops, hang on. This is the next leg of the journey. We are going from there to Arkaringa Station. So this is where we're going, right? This is the next travel day that we're doing. So it's about 5 to 5.5 hours of traveling from Coward Springs up to Oodnadatta and then out to Arkaringa Station in the Painted Desert. This is where I wanted to be going. Delenn, the sunset is triggering Lion King music. It's true. It's also very desert-like, which is also very Lion King-ish, so good point. Yeah. Looks nice. Didn't get a shot of the $2.90 a litre for fuel. No, I actually didn't, Grizz. I think someone did, but I didn't see it in our shared album, or I just missed it when I was scrolling through. But anyway, drama struck us once again with a gypsy wagon on the way to the Oodnadatta Roadhouse. Because the Oodnadatta track, the road we're on is quite rough. Well, it was quite rough for us because a lot of it had copped some damage in weeks prior with the heavy rain that had swept through here, including some heavy corrugations. So at some stage, I broke the suspension on my brother's trailer, the gypsy wagon. So this is the suspension join in between the wheels on one side. The same side? I think it's the same side as I broke the brake drum on. Wasn't it? Now I can't remember. No, maybe it was the other side. Can't remember. Anyway. What is supposed to happen is this piece here, this piece of steel here, is supposed to be vertical and welded right here. So this, whoop, don't drag, this is meant to be attached here. Once again, we stopped, the convoy stopped for us to look at something, whether it was a photo or someone needed to check something in their car or I don't remember. I thought, all right, I'll do another trailer check. And I saw that this had completely broken. And this here has been bashing the shit out of the chassis to the point where it's bent it and molded it. Not sure when this happened because the trailer was still towing okay, but going over a lot of the bumps, it was not going to stay okay. It was the other side, you think, Grizz? Yeah, I think it was. The opposite side to where I broke the brake drum. So at least I'm spreading the damage around. So then we had to talk to the local mechanic to see what was available because this was a Sunday. They can't do anything until tomorrow, or we could risk taking it with it like this and getting it serviced, looked at in Cooper Pedy, which was the next major town we were going to in a few days' time. We made the call, said, no, fuck it. When we get to Arkaringa Station, we're actually staying in a cabin room anyway. I wasn't needing the trailer for camping. So we repacked, we pulled everything out of the trailer that we needed, took the fridges out, took some of the fuel and water out, and left it there for them to fix. There you go, you can see the broken weld there. That's where this piece of metal is supposed to be attached. So that was a bit stressful, but fortunately the locals are really good. And also the guy who runs Udinadatta Station actually knows a lot of people that I know from the small country towns where I grew up in and where my parents moved to in Mansfield. So got along pretty well with him, had a lot of stories to share. So he organised all that. We got that fixed, and we'll see a fixed photo, a repaired photo of it later. So could have been worse. I have now instructed my brother it needs to have some gussets or braces put on each side and welded to give it more strength. Fortunately, it's the middle one that broke. So you've got there's two wheels on each side of the trailer. This is the bit that goes in the middle. That's the one that broke. If you're going to have any suspension break, that's what you want to break, because the bit at each end, which encompasses the wheels, was still intact. If one of those come off, then the wheels literally fall off the trailer. That didn't happen, so that's good. Finally, we then, when we got to Cooper PD, saw the guy there because we went out to dinner, and the guy from here was in Cooper PD, so I said, oh, what's going on? Yeah, so apparently the following day, they then had someone else with the exact same problem on their trailer. Anyway, this is the Painted Desert. This is why we came here, because the scenery is awesome. I've always wanted to come back here since I went through this area briefly in 2015 on my Simpson Desert trip. I did not have a proper camera at the time. I did not have a drone until now. So we got some amazing scenery, which I'll be doing some more photos onto my Instagram for that as well. And I'm showing with you here as well. I'll also be showing you on Discord as some of this unfolds. We also encountered an iguana. Big ol' lizard. Just sitting on a log. He didn't give us any grief. We just walked past him. On to, hang on, the things are a bit out of order here. Yeah, that's right, because some of the devices had their times set differently. Oh, where's the other? Add another clip. Hang on, let me just refresh. I added another clip. Show of the Painted Desert. Son of a bitch, it's not there. Alright, well, the good stuff here is so... yes, Itchy Knees, that is a massive lizard. What I can do is I can show the raw file. No, I can't. Hang on, give me a moment. I'm going to show you this clip one way or another. How do I need to do that? That's from up there. I believe it's not in here. Oh, no, I shouldn't be doing that. No. No, go back. There's some footage. I have a drone. I've got a few drone footage clips I'm going to show you now. And they really demonstrate the beauty that is the Painted Desert and why I wanted to come here. And this is the photo in the background of the Painted Desert. Now, where do I need to go for this? I need to juggle my machines. Stand by for a moment, if you could. I put this onto over here. Hopefully this does not upset. Yes, I think it's still working. You can't see me. I've just jumped onto one of my other machines. Just give me a moment. Hold it. Ollie Ridgewalk. That's the one. Smooth like butter. No one would even know that I've been faffing around. Let me media. All right, so here's a clip of the first lookout area we went to. Now, I've had a drone for a couple of years, and finally I'm able to actually use it, because a lot of the areas we're going to on this trip are in national parks, meaning you are not allowed to fly drones. The Painted Desert, however, is not in a national park, so I'm able to finally use my drone for real purposes. So we took a whole bunch of group footage around the first lookout area and walking trail we went on. Here's a piece where it's just got me in it, so I'm not showing anyone else's faces. You can sort of see the spectacle that is part of the Painted Desert, and you can see the hills in the distance there. I'll play that one more time because it took me ages to find it. And you can sort of see this, the beauty of this place, and the drone really helps show it off too. So I was really glad to get some of the footage I was able to get here. As short as that clip is, we got some more clips. All right, so the second place we went to, well, lookout we went to, this is the key part. This is the key lookout. Now, the colors are not quite as strong on the drone footage. When I do some editing, I'll do some color correction, and you can sort of see what it looks at. I was able to fly my drone out towards the hill or mountain and circle around a bit. But this place is called the Painted Desert because it looks like a painting with all the colors and tones that are just naturally occurring out there. So you're really glad to have good weather this day and good lighting, because a lot of the Aussie outback, if you don't get the direct sunlight, it looks brown and shit. But with the proper Aussie desert sun, you get all the beautiful colors coming out, which is awesome. Thank you, Itchy. I really appreciate it. I was so glad to be able to get out here. Like I say, I'll be doing some editing and pulling together some of the clips that really show off, hopefully, some of the beauty of these areas, as well as my photography as well. The drone footage, this is all unedited drone footage, so it doesn't quite capture the color tones correctly, but you can see what the base starts to look like. Heaps of range on that drone. Oh yeah. This is the one thing that's really scary about drones, right? Because I've got a Mavic Pro 2, and so I can do a lot of manual control. It can go a long way, but I can also do automated flying. I can set it to fly around waypoints I set on a map, which is crazy scary, the amount of automation these things have. And this is just a, you know, consumer level photography kind of drone. Other drones would better do even more. This is why there's so many rules about them, because you can't just fly anywhere, and there's big fines if you fly them incorrectly or in wrong places, because you could do so many bad things, but you can do so many awesome things as well. And the footage we're able to get of us in these places with the drone was awesome. So smooth looking, yeah. I have been practicing flying. I've had this drone for like 2 years, nearly 3 years. And with all the COVID lockdowns, I haven't been able to use it. So I've been doing practice flights every now and again. This is the first time I've actually gone somewhere and been able to use the drone to capture some actual footage. So I was super stoked. Super happy to be able to do it. Super happy that it turned out pretty well. Because I've been doing some testing, some practicing and some flying. Still not perfect flying, but it's good enough for what I want to do. So yeah, I was pretty happy. Thanks, Confused. Looks amazing. Yeah. Yeah, like I say, stay tuned for when I do the YouTube video edit. It will have some of the proper colors actually showing through in the footage. But yeah, this whole area, it's not it's a big-ish, but also a fairly small area by comparison of a lot of other spots. And this is the Painted Desert. This is the main reason I wanted to come out here, to see this again and to capture it, and we got to do that, so I was super happy. Despite the stress of having nearly destroyed a trailer the day before. This is a long clip. Yeah. So cool to see where the country changes, yeah. And what's really cool too is when you're driving along, there's some other clips later of just the vast deserty nothingness that exists. But this is one of my favorite clips too. So we had some kids on the trip and they needed to just go back. So one of the other guys was taking them back to camp. Whilst I was flying, I'm like, oh, I've never done a pursuit clip before. So I put my drone into sports mode, which means it goes faster. It disables some of the other safety features and it chews a lot more battery power. But I'm like, all right, I'm going to try and just chase him down. He had no idea I was doing this and just get some footage of him driving through the painted desert. And I think this looks awesome. And he's super happy too because it's his car that's in the shot and it's him driving. So I'm doing about 55 Ks an hour here in the drone. This is as fast as I could get it to go with the wind. But still was able to capture some stuff, so that's pretty cool. Strez Lucky Track next time, some great red dunes. That sounds awesome, Grizz. I am definitely up for it. And itchy knees, you feel like Simba right now. Everything the light touches. Except the elephant graveyard. Anyway, that was a cool clip. Yeah, beautiful area. Now what did we do? And now I think I did some... Oh no, this is just flying around afterwards. I think flying back. So this is flying back to us after chasing him in the car. This is me flying back to where we were on the lookout on the rise up here. There we are. The rest of the cars, you can see myself standing on the rise there. Trying to capture some of the other colors out here because everyone tends to look at the big mountain to the right. But there's also a whole bunch of beautiful colors around the left. Around that basin to the left. I'd love to know what the ground's like down here. Like if it's rocky or hard or soft and clay-like, no idea. This is one of my cooler shots I did too, just mucking around. Yes, full speed ahead, fly at the cars. The dramatic effect. Here we go. Michael Bay, eat your heart out. Whoa. Anyway. All right. So finally walking along here, like I used all the battery power I had in the drone to get all these shots. So now I've set the drone to just track and follow me as we walk along the ridge here. Just to try and give a bit of perspective and add a bit of spectacle. So I'm trying to, it's really weird trying to get footage of yourself doing exploration because I have to keep controlling the drone and you don't want to be sitting there on the footage looking like this the whole time. So I set some semi-automation and then just sort of one-hand the controls so I can still like look around and not look like a weirdo looking at the ground all the time. But it really shows off the prehistoric seabed vibe. It does. And some of the tour guides were talking about, well, the tourist information places talking about how a lot of this was seabed, you know, however many million years ago before it all rise up with the plate shifting and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, really cool. But I really love the perspective that the drone gives with the shifting. My battery was getting flat, so I had to then go and land the drone, but I was happy to get it done. There you go. There's a photo of me earlier from flying the drone at the first spot. And there's another photo of the painted desert, which I think might be this photo here, actually. And there's another one. And then there's me. This is what I wanted to avoid. This is what I wanted to avoid whilst doing the footage. Don't be looking down. Anyway, we got my brother's trailer back. They fixed it. They double welded, aka welded the out of it, and it's stronger than ever. They did that on both sides. Really appreciate everything that they did. We hung out for, actually, before we go there, we hung out for some sunset action. So this is the next day. We went back and got the trailer and came back. And then we hung out for some sunset action at the same lookout. And you can sort of see we get some good sunset colors there. I'm hoping to tweak some more of that with my photo editing. And then this is the drive back to camp later that night. So it was at 7:15 p.m. Driving back, and you've got a lot of that purple in the sky. Got a bit of the moon here, and I just thought it was pretty cool ambience to be driving back to camp with this. Itchy knees, I got so tan. Yeah, I did. I was trying to avoid getting a singlet tan, so there were parts of a couple of other days where I was walking around with no top on because I was trying to not get a singlet tan. But ultimately, because I wasn't topless the whole time, I didn't want to be weird and just walking around with no top on the whole time, I ended up with a singlet tan. So I'm nice and tanned on my arms and shoulders and everything, but I'm still very white on my chest and the middle of my back. The ominous music's kind of funny too as we drive through the night, but that was pretty cool. The night sunset driving looks cool. Yeah, it does. And that's why I'll just try and save it from the dash cam. Don't have anything better to capture it in, but at least you can see it there that way. So that was kind of cool. All right, so the following day, we mixed up our plans a bit to leave a day early, and we were going to trek to Kubapidi. So our goal now is to go from Arkaringa Station to Kubapidi. So this is an opal mining town. So we traveled a couple hours from Arkaringa to here. So this is us continuing on. We're leaving the parts of the Painted Desert. I thought, all right, we haven't done a proper drone flyby shot. So this is my first ever attempt at a vehicle drive flyby. So I'm sitting in the passenger seat trying to fly a drone. It was so disorienting, but where we go. Singlet tan proves my non-yoppy status. Yes, and reinforces my bogan origins and my bogan status. Anyway, this is pretty cool. My first ever proper drive-by phone drone footage. So that came up all right, I think, too. But again, shows what the desert conditions are like, shows some of the tones. The drone camera doesn't quite show the colors properly, so I'll try and correct that in the editing, but yeah, it's still pretty cool. Confused human, you're debating if you could bother to get up and make lunch. What if you did brunch, like a breakfast food lunch? That could be more inspiring, yes? Pasta sounds good to eat. Yeah, that's true. Pasta's good. Love the convo drone reel. Yeah, it's a bit of fun, right? Yeah, we get to see all our cars in action. You can kind of see a bit of the scale of us traveling together and the scenery together. I'm only doing about 30 or 40, yeah, I think 30 kilometers an hour there, just so we don't outpace the drone. I think I've got another one here. If it wants to play. Oh, error, error. This one? The next one, isn't it? No, it was this one. That's more footage driving through. But yeah, beautiful countryside. Really awesome place. Now been to the Painted Desert twice. I would like to go here again. Maybe as part of a different trip. Like Grizz mentioned, more of the Strzelecki track or something. It's just a really beautiful place to visit. And it's just, I don't know, it's just nice. It was one of the highlights from my trip through the desert last time. My highlight of this trip this time. This was one of the main reasons I wanted to do this trip. Plus the adventuring stuff is kind of cool, where we go and do some hikes and see some sights and wrangle our way through some rough terrain during the day. Hopefully not too many dramas that involve damaging vehicles or equipment. Tempest, any vehicle or tire issues? No vehicle issues. We all had our tires deflated to a sensible level for the off-road stuff. When I dropped off my brother's trailer to get fixed because we broke the suspension, timing was convenient that I then got a flat tire at the same time on the trailer, so I just got the local guys to fix. Where was it? So this is the suspension I broke. The middle arm snapped off the welds there. I didn't take a photo of the tire, but anyway, they fixed the suspension, they fixed the tire, and we picked it up the following day. So just a bit of it's about an hour and a half drive back to Unadada, but it meant at least we could do some other stuff, other exploration in the meantime. But all the other vehicles were fine. Great drone footage. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. This is my first time actually using my drone for real. I've just, during all the lockdowns, all I've been able to do is just random practice flights. We did, so Jimmy on his Pajero there, the silver car, he's got a little carry tray you could see on the back there. That got damaged during the mudslide incident we mentioned, or we had earlier. There you go. Here's me coming to pick up the drone as I as I land it down. There we go. So where was the mud incident? So when the first two cars went ahead and came down off this after the rains had gone through and washed and eroded everything out, as he came through, his carry bar got damaged a little bit, mostly just wiring. The structure of the bar seemed to be okay, but he also carved out the flat spot in the thing here. This was all a cliff all the way along. So the other camper trailer and Jimmy with his bar came through and flattened that out a bit. But that's the only car dramas that happened, which is good because nothing worse than vehicle troubles on an adventure like this. Looks like a car chase scene, yeah. All right, so then we're on to Cooper Pedy. Now, Cooper Pedy is an opal mining town. Look, it's got pretty harsh and rough vibes to it. The whole place looks pretty beat up, but it's still a cool place to visit. And if you get the opportunity, you absolutely should stay there. Because in the peak of the summer in the desert, they can get over 40 degrees or over 45 degrees, very hot. And especially when this town was established was, you know, before the days of things like air conditioning. A lot of the houses and buildings were actually carved out of the rock below. It was a mining town for opal mining, so they had rock cutting machinery. So a lot of houses were carved into the ground out of rock because then it maintains a nice even sort of 19 to 21 degrees Celsius inside. The only problem is there's no windows. Anyway, part of the novelty now is you can go and stay in underground motels where they've carved it out of the rock into the ground. So when we're in Cooper Pedy, that's what we did. There's a picture of Grizz's car with the Cooper Pedy sign with some of the mining paraphernalia or memorabilia kind of imagery. And there's this big church. There's a big Serbian church carved into the rock. So that was kind of cool to go inside. I'd been in here before, but I didn't have my proper camera last time, so that was kind of cool to come through. It reminds me of some of like the ancient temples and stuff you might find in games like Skyrim or something like that. Pretty cool place to come in, and they've got like, you know, trippy, you know, chanty music playing in the background as well. But that's all. I mean, that's all beautifully carved out of the rock, and you can sort of see the rock infrastructure carving also tries to match some of the artistry there as well. So that's pretty cool. But then after that, from Cooper Pedy, we're gradually making our way home. So the main part of the trip is done by this stage. That's kind of it. And so we're traveling now back to the likes of Port Augusta, Port Pirie, where we'll stay. But I took this little piece of dash cam footage just to show, you know, we're back on highway roads, big roads, sealed roads, put air back in our tires. But there's still these vast plains of emptiness, just nothing either side. But sometimes you come over a small rise and into the valley and you can kind of see, oh, that looks kind of pretty. And then as you get into the valley, you're like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of nothing here. But it's still kind of cool. There's something cool about the level of flatness and nothingness that exists here, especially if you're not used to seeing it, and we're not used to seeing that being in other parts of the country or even living in one of the cities, right? So that was, I thought that was worth looking at. Here's another little bit of footage. So you can sort of see sitting at about 105, 108 kilometers an hour, cruising along. Good road conditions here, so that was nice for a change. There's still these cattle grids. We just went over a cattle grid. There's cattle grids frequently on all the roads because they're just big open grazing stations or grazing areas where there's just roaming cattle all about. I did have some footage of cows on our trip, I thought, too, back into Arkaringa. I need to try and dig that up. You can still see us still got all the mud and dirt from the horrific rainy second day or third day or whatever it was on the bonnet, on the hood of the car. And then you can see you still come across these little water plains like this here, this whole area here is like a rivery water plain that sort of floods and flows when there's a lot of water going through. Right now it's dry again, but yeah, there's lots of these weird little contrasts throughout the whole countryside. And here we go, here's a shot. We made it into Port Pirie, although there are a lot of jokes been thrown around because basically in the background, although I think they're grain silos there, but over here, this is a lead smelter facility. So they gather and refine and smelt lead here. And now there's all kinds of, apparently locals have to be tested every now and again for lead levels. Children's play equipment has to be washed every week to make sure there's no lead residue on it. Oh, not inspiring. Itchy asphalt can be a bit of a shock after all the dirt. The funny thing was, when we first got back onto the hard asphalt road, it was actually rougher than the dirt we'd just been on because it was a bit dated and had been affected by long amounts of heat where it starts to just sort of melt and warp bits of the road. So when we first got back on the asphalt, it was rough and there was more bumps than the dirt road we'd just been traveling on. But by the time we got to that clip I just showed you, that was pretty smooth again, so that was all good. So the lead, oh yeah, Grizz, I thought you said the lead was lovely, but yeah, the asphalt was lovely by that stage. And it meant for more relaxing drive because sort of sit back a bit and have a more relaxed drive rather than the constant focusing and concentration of all the off-road stuff. So that was that. And then finally, I just paid a visit to where my grandma lived. This is where my mum grew up, in this very small town of Dublin. Tiny town. So where have we gone? We've gone from Ubipedi to Port Pirie, and then I stopped off in Dublin. So here's Port Pirie. This is where we stayed. That first trip was in here, where the lead smelter is, and then the next day, traveling back, went through Dublin here. This is where my mum, the granny sauce, as Sparkle Sauce would say. Oh, here's the other clip I was looking for. It didn't save the date information correctly. Anyway, that's the clip I was looking for earlier. Anyway, there it is. Tempest. Didn't know the lead issue at Port Pirie. Do you guys stop at Woomera? We did not, no. To be honest, I don't know that there's a lot to see in Woomera. So that's, oh, that was way back early. That was all the way up here somewhere. Yeah, we just drove past it because we had a fair bit of driving to do that day. We had a fair bit of ground to cover. From what I understand, there's not a lot to see. I think there's some military presence and some other stuff, but no, we didn't go in. There's an Air Force base. There you go. I think there's a Woomera detention center somewhere there too, right? But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the journey done. We got back home, so then we actually we weren't staying in Dublin. We were staying we went from Port Pirie. That's right. We went from Port Pirie to Stall. Where we stayed? Is that trip? Yes. And upon arriving into Stall at 9 o'clock at night, I crashed my brother's trailer into the motel reception area because I forgot how tall the car and how tall the damn trailer was. So small damage to my brother's trailer, just to his tent ladder, which we'll look at fixing or replacing, and then some damage to the fascia, just the timber fascia on the entrance to the hotel or the motel reception area. So now I've got to get that fixed and replaced too. What a drainer. But anyway, at least it could have been worse. It was low damage, low speed, could have been much worse. But anyway. Oh yes, Grizz, I didn't mention it to you. I mentioned it to the likes of a couple of others. But anyway, I'll show you some pics at some stage. So now I'm trying to get insurance organized for that. What a pain in the ass. Not a good way to finish it, but anyway. Then it was down home from Stall, back to Melbourne, and that was the end of the trip. And that is my story. So there we go, show and tell from the trip done. That is why there's been no streams happening for the last 2.5 weeks. That's where Grizz and myself and Bright have been. We are now back, so getting and adjusting back to normal life. I had to try and remember how to set everything up for streaming today, because I had, like I said, I had removed my camera, so I had to put my camera back in and make sure everything's working. Played some video games over the last couple of days. I'm going to do some more photography stuff. Stay tuned for those showing up on my Instagram or on Discord. And that's it. Show and tell complete. Hopefully you didn't find that too boring. I'm going to try and edit this into some kind of YouTube video. Yeah. Any other questions? Tempest, awesome. Glad you guys made it back safely. Yes, thank you very much. Look, we are pretty diligent. The good thing is Grizz and I have experience in this kind of stuff already. So we are able to guide the others through a lot of this stuff. And Grizz and I sort of make sure we've got the nav points of where we're traveling to. But ultimately, yeah, we are pretty safe in what we do, having the experience, having the right equipment, and then just not being dickheads. Being a dickhead can make things go south very quickly, but we had a good time and a good adventure in the process. Lyrium, good show and tell. Thank you very much. It was pretty fun. I could have done without some of the equipment failing. That's some of the lessons learnt for next time. We will be doing more trips like this in future. Like I said, I was half joking earlier that if we're able to get internet connectivity in some of these remote areas, we might consider streaming some of it. I eventually might consider doing that in the future if there is a way. I don't know quite how I would do that yet, but I think that would be a kind of a fun thing to do, because who streams adventuring through the outback? No one does that. So that would be a cool, unique thing to try and do. Yeah. But it's definitely fun. My next plans are to do a suspension upgrade on my full drive, and then potentially look at building a similar camper trailer, but with some differences to what my brother has built, that better suit what we are looking for. Hoping in future to also do some trips with my brother coming along as well. So that is the dream. Hanging out on more adventures, doing more cool trips with cool people like Grizz and some of our other friends and family. Tempest, you did a huge trip recently to the Outback, and when you asked your passengers what they liked, they said the best bit was Harndorf. You didn't need to go so far. Grizz, you stopped in Harndorf on the way back, didn't you? I skipped it because I usually see Harndorf once a year, because my sister Sparkle Sauce lives just down the road from Harndorf, and she used to live in Harndorf. So I didn't need to see it anymore. So Grizz, you did Harndorf on the way back as well, yeah. Well, when we asked everyone what their favorite stuff was, we got some good answers, including the kids as well. So Grizz's nephews and our friends' kids as well. A lot of it was, you know, getting to hang out with you guys. Oh, that's nice. And then some of the scenery and stuff too. So yeah, no one said things like getting home was the best part, or visiting Harndorf, or going to Macca's. Nah, no one said anything like that. The trip was pretty well appreciated all round, I think. So yeah, that is that. Cool. All right, show and tell complete. So we still have a little bit of stream time. So normally when we finish the content, I usually often wind up a little bit early. This has been an unconventional, not a normal stream for us. This week is not a normal week. We're getting back into it. The next stream will be Thursday. That'll be with Sparkle Sauce co-commentating with me as we play through some Doom. Friday, we'll do some co-op. Now, we might do either some PowerWash Simulator or maybe we'll kick off with some Anthem, because I'm going to drag a couple of people from the community to do some co-op multiplayer Anthem instead of power washing on Friday. So that's a chill, a banter, drinks and chats. Then main streams next week, Mondays, Tuesdays, we're back to doing our normal streams, getting back into the main plot within Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and finishing that once I have finished making my beast taming mod, which I'm hoping to do over the next few days. That's the plan. That's what's happening over the next few days. Hopefully that sounds okay. Sounds fun. Bring on the fails. Oh, there will be some fails, and that'll be the good stuff. Now, what I can do. Now, if we want to, or we can save it for Friday. So Anthem, I'm keen to play. It's I've played it before because I got it for free with one of my video cards a few years ago. I've played everything in it. I've maxed it, right? But I've always wanted to play the campaign again with some multiplayer with my friends. I have no friends who play it currently. So the likes of Frosty, Grunt Cookies, and Grizz, I haven't quite convinced Grizz yet. I'm hoping to do some multiplayer we can on Fridays for Anthem. Now, however, you need to complete the intro mission first. You can't do multiplayer until the introduction and effectively the tutorial mission is complete. If we like, I can play through that now. If you want to see what that looks like, we can play through the intro mission. That will have my character set up ready to go. And then if I am able to get copy CD keys to the others who will be playing, there's a chance we could do some Anthem playing Friday night. Now, it still may not happen depending on what's going on. You better get onto that then. Yes, Grizz. But if that's what we want to do, I can play through some Anthem now for about sort of 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And that will be tonight's session done. A real basket case of everything crammed into this session. So why don't we do that if people have still got some time to kick around? If everyone is well and truly over hearing me talk, we absolutely can just stop here if we prefer. But I thought, look, let's have a look, because it is a decent game. I am biased because I love Iron Man, and I have played this. But that's what we'll do. I think let's crack on with the intro mission for Anthem. You can see what it's like. You can see, therefore, what some of the multiplayer is going to look like as we play through this on Fridays with the likes of drinks and banter and all that sort of stuff. So let's crack it on. Now, it's built in the Frost engine, EA's Frost engine. It does take a little bit to load at times, which is annoying. Grizz, you're going to have to catch it on the replay. Enjoy. Grizz's wife needs sleep, so that means you've got to go to bed too. No worries. Thanks for coming along, Grizz. I'll ping you during the week to download and install and do your intro mission so that you can join in the multiplayer. Yeah, let's finish up tonight with some intro Anthem action. Oh, Delenn, did the YouTube comments stop briefly, did they? Glad it's still working. Thanks, Grizz. Thanks for coming along, man. And thank you, Grizz, for being our illustrious leader on our Outback adventure. All right, so change pilot. So you can have up to 3. Now I created one here to test out how a new how a new campaign is created. So still got my main one up the top. Don't delete the main one. Now, is this starting a new game in that new one, or was it doing? It's a little bit clunky. No, okay. I think whenever you do something with pilot or profile creation, it reboots the start of the game. All right, new character. That is all fine. Confirm and continue. Press space to start. We make the screen bigger. Yes, sorry, Lyrium. Thank you. My bad. That's better. Now, this whole game is disappointing. This had a lot of potential, and they were really starting to create some solid lore for it. It's very unique lore in a way. But let's listen. Any minute now. Or not. Anyway, it's set on the world of Bastion. It reminds me very much of Avatar. Seen the movie Avatar? You know, the blue...
Dangerous world.
Here we go.
The gods who built it vanished, leaving behind their instruments that aimlessly reshaped the land. These ancient relics harness an unknowable force we call the Anthem of Creation. But the Anthem refuses to be controlled. To survive, our ancestors invented the javelins and built cities with great walls. Today, it falls to a dedicated group of heroes to face the chaos, protect our homes, and fight for our very survival. We are freelancers. We leap head-on into danger, rescuing the lost, keeping the monsters at bay, and silencing the Anthem's terrible cataclysms. But not all cataclysms are created equal. And even freelancers are wary of the untamed power of the Anthem.
Seat your knees. Was I in a yellow suit in this game? Are you thinking of the right playthrough? I believe you are. I've done a lot of yellow and black. Yes.
Closest we get with the Striders.
Agreed. Looks like we fly from here. Alec, you hear that?
Yep. All teams, get ciphers to their amplifiers. Let's go!
All right, so basically think hostile world like in the movie Avatar.
We're a long way from the cenotaph, and the storm is worse than we thought.
Okay, this is as close as we're gonna get to the center without the Strider getting ripped to shreds. Let's go, freelancers. Suit up!
How crazy will this get?
No idea. Never tried to shut down a cataclysm this big.
Oh, steady, Faye. None of us come out of this alive without our cipher.
Stay safe out there. Remember, we're a team. I'm right there with you.
Okay, freelancer. You might be new, but you won't be here if you didn't show promise.
Hey, Helen, what's up? Waiting for it to die down out there? Let's go!
Thought you could use a head start.
See you at the cenotaph. We're heading out.
Okay.
Oh, he's a jolly fellow, isn't he?
From killing everything.
I don't know, Alec. Haven't seen anything like this before.
Look, everyone.
Ominous.
I won't be here if I thought this storm could beat me, right? Heart of Rage is no different than the hundreds of other Shaper ruins we've dealt with. It's just bigger. This is what we do. So we're gonna go in there and we're gonna take on whatever unholy beast it spits at us, and we're going to tame that thing. Together.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Ready, Javelin 1?
Ooh, ready. Strong alone, stronger together.
I've actually used that quote in playing other games. Strong alone, stronger together. Here we are. Let's get into our Javelin suit. It's a bit old and beat up, but it's what we got. Strap in. All right, I'll try and explain some of the lore and the universe as we go. But it looks so cool. I liken this game a little bit to Firefly, and that Firefly was awesome if you like that stuff for one season. This was awesome. They just didn't do enough content.
I've got you, Faye, loud and clear.
Gateway link is strong so far.
Storm gets worse ahead. Trying to find a calm pocket for you. Steady, Miller. Your heart rate is too high. Hello. Check in, please.
Ooh.
Don't worry about me. Got one.
Team, our rookie's tangled with a wyvern.
We are the rookie. We've tangled with a wyvern and crash landed. And suit has frozen.
Freelancer, thank goodness you survived, but your javelin needs a restart. I'll bring systems back one at a time. Starting voice recognition.
All right, we're gonna play a female character this time.
Faye? Faye, can you hear me? Loud and clear. That was a bad fall. How's your head? You remember the mission? I think so. Where am I? You're in a cataclysm, terrible storm, called the Heart of Rage. You need to get to the center and shut it down by silencing the cenotaph. Got it.
Right, so they've thrown a whole bunch of gibberish at us. So, all right, firstly.
Grab a repair pack when you can.
All right, our suit is critically damaged. We can't fly, and we're vulnerable. We're in a big mission. We can hear everyone talking and some drama going on. So think planet. So this is called Planet Bastion. Not really sure how humans got here or whatever, whether we've always been here or what. But think hostile world, even more hostile than the planet. Than the like in the Avatar movie, but worse, right? And so what exists is, wow, they're all excited and scared at all the monsters.
Halleck? Yep. She's up and heading your way.
How's it going back there? What's your ETA?
Dunno. Faye? Not too far, just... Oh, no, sorry. Can't talk. Be right back.
All right, so this... We pause? I think we can pause in the first message. Right, so... no, we cannot. Everyone's still talking. Let's just talk and go. So, Planet Bastion. The anthem of creation is an actual weird mystical force used for creating everything from landscapes to living beings to all kinds of stuff. The Shapers, basically the gods that existed or created a lot of the stuff, they left a lot of their tools. It's like the world was never finished and all the tools have been left here, but they keep activating and doing stuff. So these Shaper tools, these Shaper relics keep activating to create either beasts or massive land-shifting storms that threaten the rest of the life here. So what we are doing currently right now is we are trying to silence a particular cataclysm, a mystical storm that has been formed, and everyone's worried. This is the biggest we've ever seen, and we're in a big team, right? A lot of people scared and excited because they're fighting lots of monsters. These cataclysms and these Shaper relics often produce lots of monsters and stuff. They just create living beings. They just create them out of nothing. So you're constantly trying to take out monsters that are constantly being created.
No flight boosters yet.
All right. Anyway, that's our intro. We're trying to do the Heart of Rage, which is one of the biggest cataclysms ever seen.
The Cypher from Strider 2 is down. Comatose.
His Lancers are flying blind? Never mind that, Halleck. We've got a Titan. Holy crap. Miller, get your head in the game. Hurry up, rookie. We can use the help.
On my way. Hang tough, everyone.
So, Dalen, you're absolutely right. The lead is actually interesting. Charismatic NPCs, good graphics, engine. Correct. This is why it's really frustrating that this game fell over. It had so much potential. Itchy, imagine the home renovation shows that must happen on this planet. Well, here's where it's extra weird. So we're teamed up with multiple Striders, right? We've got multiple crews. Normally a crew operates independently, but there's like 3 or 4 crews for this one because it's a big one, right? A Strider is like a big walking home platform. Think like the AT-AT walkers in Star Wars, but even bigger. And that's where those weird hammerhead looking things we saw at the start were. Now, the other thing that's weird is there's this weird technology, right? We've been able to build these suits with flight and weapons and everything, but computers aren't really a thing. So flying this suit with some systems help, but there's no full-blown computer stuff. So piloting these things actually is a genuine skill done by humans. The other thing is they've referred to a cipher. So Faye is our cipher, our overseer. They have some kind of psychic connection to the systems that we have. I don't fully understand it, because when they're in there, it's like they're plugged into the Matrix and connected to our systems and overseeing everything and calling shots out. Like, oh, watch out for this, I'll reboot your suit. Hey, go over here, I've marked it on your waypoints, etc. That's what your cipher does. Now, they were just saying one of the ciphers has gone into a coma. So the anthem of creation can sometimes be heard by ciphers when near these storms. And it's overwhelming, overpowering. One of the other ciphers has gone into a coma. So now that crew are flying blind. They don't have the oversight, the insight, the assistance of someone in their ear like we have. They're just running around with a radio so they can talk to the rest of us, but that's it. All right, hopefully that's a good enough scene setting for now. This is very dramatic. It looks very cool, and the way these suits move is awesome. Then you're sprinting, activate your rockets to sprint. We can double jump, right? And we have weapons, and we have suit capabilities, melee, and I've got an ultimate as well. I'll use the ultimate shortly. So I'll explain that later. And we can fly, except our flight's busted.
Part of a Dominion Strider. From when they attacked the city. Those fuel canisters are explosive, by the way.
Are they now? Oh, that didn't break it. I got it. Sprint time. All right, time to fight some stuff. Activate ultimate. Yeah, suck on that. So
this is not going well. Many casualties. Freelancers down. Ciphers in comas.
Comas?
From hearing the anthem.
How are you doing, Faye? Are you okay?
So far, but I can hear it too.
And Delenn, you like games that look good, right? This looks pretty good, yeah? So Faye can hear the anthem of creation. She's psychically plugged into everything that we're doing. She can hear it, but she's okay for now. And we still can't fly yet. Ooh. Dead freelancer, that's not good. Continue forward. Oh, shit. That's an Ash Titan, I think.
Miller, I found your Titan.
This cataclysm is creating them by the handful.
Faye, you still there?
Yes. You've got down freelancers ahead, sending distress signals. They're the ones from Strider 2. Their javelins need repair. Get them moving.
All right, so this is where we learn the mechanic of reviving teammates. Here we go.
There's 3 altogether. They're on short distance radio.
Okay.
Since I'm not connected to them, I might not be able to guide you.
So Faye's trying to assist another squad, but because she's not connected to them, she's only limited in what she can do for these guys. All right, we've got some more guys to rescue. There we go. Now this javelin we're in, this suit, is called a Ranger. This is like a balanced all-rounder. Does a little bit of everything. It likes to sort of be on the ground and dart around a bit. My favorite suit is called the Colossus, which we can't unlock until later. All right, we got to get to this guy. Let's res him up. So, Delenn, you're impressed so far. Now you're curious as to ultimately why does this game... Hang on, can we hover? We can't hover yet. Why does this game fail so hard? Well, there were some issues with bugs at launch, as you'd expect. But there weren't too many bugs. There was some very dodgy mechanics, though. As an example, you see when I shoot something, a number shows up. Initially in the game, that number was made up. As in, it was irrelevant to what was happening.
Thanks, sister.
Someone proved...
I'm heading back to the Strider.
Someone proved that at the end game, he's kept his level 1 weapons. and he'd shoot something, it would say 20 damage. But he'd shoot it 4 times and it would die. Versus his endgame weapon that might say it's doing 100 damage, but it shoots it 5 or 6 times to kill it. So there was a lot of dodgy mechanics like that. Now that's all been rectified now, but that didn't help the Anthem's bad press it was getting at the time. In the middle of the game, there was a grind wall where you just needed to achieve X number of level or collecting certain things. That was bullshit. That's been removed from the game. And then just at the end game, there's some, you know, group stuff to do. But that's it. They stopped adding content. That's it, really. Other than that, the game's pretty good.
We aren't gonna make it to the cenotaph.
Gonna try.
There's some even better characters yet to come.
Freelancers. What next?
Push on and
You'll see them.
How long? Which way? I've got a Titan on the bridge above.
Leave it. We've got one up here too.
They're all over the place. I'll need to go around. Which way, Faye?
Hey.
Which way? How do we get up there? Never mind.
Titan here just blasted the wall out. Give me a shortcut.
We really need your help.
Gotcha. On my way.
Run our way. Let's get to the Titan, help the rest of the crews that are still alive, that is.
How close am I, Faye?
Faye, Adair.
Shit. Oh.
The Anthem. It wants to consume me. To show me.
Faye, snap out of it. What do you got for us?
Oh, sorry. The whole team from Strider 3 is gone.
Miller, pull back. See if we can flank it.
Strider 14 is in retreat. If they make it, mission seems doomed.
How far back? Damn, I'm freaking out. Then get out of the way. I'll do it.
All falling down. Yeah, it is a shame. Like I say, I played this game to its fullest, and it is enjoyable. The gameplay looks fun. The way the suits work is good. The way the suits complement each other is good. Anyway,
Where are you? Try
we'll play it
I swear.
It's all wrong.
on Fridays.
Come back. Retreat. I can hear the anthem of creation.
Faye, are we supposed to fall back?
We're fine. We push on. Right, team?
I'm in. Watch every streamer do that same thing. They come through, they're like, I'm in. All right, take out all these dangerous Scorpy boys. Look at these old ruins.
Rookie, there you are. Get in here.
Faye's calling a retreat.
We got this.
Almost there.
Retreat, Halleck.
You need to retreat.
Oh, another one down. Not good.
He's gone. I'm sorry.
Our suit's not looking too good.
Adair!
Another one down.
Get back to the Strider. This mission is over.
I can do it. Look at this, Faye. We have to silence the cenotaph.
Please. I'm barely holding it together.
Retreat isn't an option. Not now.
Alex going to take it out with his big Colossus suit, and he has succeeded. All right, his stubbornness has prevailed for now.
We got this bastard.
We have to get out of here.
No. We push on.
We're the only ones left.
Think about Miller and Adair. All the others. You being a coward.
I'm no coward.
No?
You want to push forward until I get killed? Until we both get killed?
Yeah, Alex. Look, there's more epic titans being created by this storm.
Where'd that come from?
Let's go. Faye, we're coming back.
No!
It beat us, Alec. We need to regroup.
It can't beat us. Rookie, don't you dare pull me out of here.
And we pull out. Easy. So multiple teams out of everyone who went in. I'm guessing it was 3 or 4 per team, and I think there was 3 or 4 striders. So out of like 12 to 16.
To silence the heart of rage, we lost more than freelancers, more than friends and comrades. We lost the faith of the people we protect. So the freelancers scattered, searching for ways to redeem themselves. The few who remained carried on, finding new allies where they could. Doing their best to help a people who no longer called the freelancers heroes.
Two years later. Cute little furry buggers. They're called grabbits, I think.
I'm at the coordinate zone.
Impressive entrance, as usual.
Nice to be appreciated.
Ah, don't sell yourself short, mate. A cipher couldn't ask for a better partner.
You could ask, but not many of us left.
The relay's a short flight away.
Easy.
All right.
Easy keeps you alive.
Wouldn't call this living, inspecting sensors every month.
Yeah, pays the bills.
Not exactly the freelancer motto.
Yeah, well, until the freelancers are back on their feet, we can enjoy all the gorgeous scenery Bastion has to offer.
Flying around it is even better.
Now I'm jealous, sitting here in the fort.
All right, so we'll carry on. This is the other, I think I probably could exit now, but if everyone's interested, we'll carry on a bit more. Otherwise, I can cut it short. So this is the second part of the intro mission where this is 2 years later. Now it's just a relaxed kind of mission, supposedly, where we were just doing random sensor inspections to get by. We have a cipher who helps us out, and now we can fly.
You're the first in months. Maps for this area are sketchy.
And now we can see the awesome scenery and the different parts. It is Bastion. Gonna need to land because I'm getting a bit halt.
There's the relay. Just needs a hard reset.
All right. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. There's really good scenery in this.
Good, that did it. You'll need to manually check the sensors now. First one's nearby. Oh, maybe grab some supplies before you go.
Supplies done. Okay, where are we going? There's a sensor over here somewhere. I think that's a plant I can harvest.
Oh, hey, look, some grabbits. Doing whatever grabbits do.
Where? Oh, yeah, there they are. Don't worry, I'm not going to shoot him. Just going to say her legs below must in that suit an unnatural angle. Well, I think the way it works is... Oh, I can't point. I can't... Can I bring up the thing? No.
At least nothing's trying to eat you.
Not like that job in Darkwood.
The last part would be the ankle. So right now the foot would be facing down, but... yes, I hear your point. It doesn't look natural, but the suit's comfortable. Don't worry about it. It's all good. And no fall damage. So, yay. All right, flying.
Oh, there's the first sensor. I need you to access it.
First, must collect the loots. There we go. So the range is cool because it can do these little sprinty dash moves. Let's activate this bad boy.
Close so I can get a reading on the shaper energy. Hang on. I'm detecting movement. Looks like scorpions.
99 itchy knees, thanks for coming along.
Scorpions are riled up.
Well, aren't they? Probably haven't tasted fresh freelancer in a while.
Won't be today.
Aha! Convince them.
Alright, get back in the zone so we can keep activating the thingy. Also, Owen can activate it through our interface. Reload.
Hang in there. I'm still waiting for a reading.
Right.
Owen?
Almost got it. All right, readings are coming through.
What?
It's mostly normal.
Mostly? This is the early warning system. If it's detecting something...
Yeah, no sign of shaper energy. Head to the next sensor.
Okay, Shaper energy being that weird energy used from the Anthem of Creation that channeled through relics and artifacts. to make things happen. Shaper energy.
If you want to cool your suit.
Shaper energy makes everyone nervous because that's what creates monsters and storms that shift everything around. All right, fly through the waterfall to cool our suit down.
You're coming up on the next sensor. Check it out for me, will you?
Bunch of grabbits. I just want to pat them. But I cannot. At least they're not hostile.
Wait there while I get a reading.
No sign of scorpions, at least. They're aggressive today. Owen, what's going on? Why are all the birds leaving?
I'm working on it. Got a reading. Not good. Possible shaper energy detected. Get to the next sensor, we can narrow it down.
Birds might have had the right idea.
Birds might have had the right idea. Now I'm just going to check something for a moment. Yeah, the landscape is really beautiful and very, I don't know, extreme and very vertical. It's very cool a lot of the time. All right, so we'll crack on a little bit further, shall we?
Owen, how bad could this get?
You were in the heart of Rage, weren't you?
Don't even think it.
See these ruins? There's a theory a shaper relic flipped gravity for a day.
Uh-huh. Well, not on my watch.
Yeah, so these ruins were once something else, but a relic activated and flipped gravity upside down for a day, so everything got completely munted. I don't know what was here before, though, but it got upset.
Last sensors nearby.
With wyverns circling.
I see them. Fire breathers. We still need to get a reading.
Pesky wyverns, go away.
Heads up, more wyvern are on you.
Ah.
This could be their nesting area.
Oh, does that do target seeking, does it? Oh, I want to try that move again. Shoot it. Oh, it does. Excellent. I didn't realize that. Target seeking rocket. That is very fun. Awesome. Oh, we still got to stand here. Okay. Oh, and I got a daily daily achievement. Shoot stuff in weak points. Anything else? Come on, Owen. Make it work. Alright.
Oh crap!
What?
Shaper energy off the charts. An unstable relic in the area. The bad one. I've got a probable location.
On it.
Hang in there, your javelin can take some heat. Mostly.
And when it can't?
You'll know it.
Alright, gotta check out the relic.
Shall I call in more freelancers?
No time. We can't risk this getting worse.
Alright, now we can also fly through the water. Which is also pretty cool. Frosty, how do we get home and relax? We got restless legs. Oh, that's annoying. Can you try stretching it, maybe?
Here we go.
Shaper ruins. We're on the right trail.
Looks like an echo lock we need to open.
I've dealt with these. Look around at the floating lights. They're the echoes. Grab them and bring them to the door. Your job.
All right.
Hold 3 at a time.
So, a lot of relics tend to just activate or...
Anthem energy gone astray.
So these relics like this have things...
Your suit can only hold 3 at a time. Take these over to the door.
There we go. Eventually they shake free and burst energy into the area.
You'd have to ask an arcanist why. You'll need more echoes.
An arcanist is a person who studies a lot of the phenomena that is around, such as echoes and relics. So we're collecting...
Should be enough. Let's see if the door opens.
Collecting glowy balls is what we're doing. Put the energy into the relic, make it open the door. Let me in, please.
Aha! That did it. We're in. Impressive. Even for a Shaper ruin.
What's it for?
Raise a mountain, carve out an ocean, spawn some new monstrosity.
There has to be some reason for it all.
It's the riddle of our world. And this one's waking up. I detect intense energy deeper in.
Better get flying. Oh, fly straight into a wall. So what does this big relic do? Don't know. Maybe it carves mountains, he says. But we need to just get into it and deactivate it before it causes some real damage. What is this?
Though it doesn't look like they made it back out.
Ooh. Busted suit. No sign of the person, though. Oh, okay. This thing.
What's all this?
Got me. Painful looking. This ruin's never been mapped.
Oh, careful. Try and... Oh, shit.
I'll reset.
Damn it. To dodge the columns of heat. That's better.
Oh, hey, watch it.
Oh, make it. Oh, did that not count? I thought that made it through. Oh, okay. We did make it through. There we go. We're on the other side. Okay, so now we're jumping down again.
I've lost flight control.
I'm trying to reset. Hang on. Oh, good. It's just water.
Owen?
Controls restored. You're back.
All right, thanks, Owen. You're not happy?
That's the relic up there. Big one too. He'll need to silence it.
Where do I start?
Some echoes have shaken loose. Find them and get them back in place.
Oh, I missed it.
Got one.
Okay.
Know the drill. You'll need more.
Can carry 3 at a time. Let's grab this one down here. Watch out for the waterfalls going backwards. Or the geysers or whatever they are.
What's the relic doing?
I can't tell, but the energy pocket's getting bigger. Something's forming in there.
What is it?
I mean, anything is possible. Look at the waterfalls. They're going backwards.
Alright, let's put them in.
It's working. Keep the echoes coming and we'll collapse the energy pocket.
Collect the other echo energy thingamajiggies. This is where sometimes the gameplay is a little bit see-through.
Being harnessed in there. Pure creation, something totally new forming.
New and dangerous.
Blame that on the Shapers. It's still amazing.
Somehow that does not... There we go, now we got it. So, something is being formed, spawned, created, which is bad. Must stop it from happening.
There. Last echo.
You did it. That should silence it.
Not silencing, Owen.
It didn't hold.
I see. Damn, it's starting. You've got company.
Owen, talk to me.
Yes, I'm trying to work it out. Shaper energy's still increasing. These are just a warm-up, a prelude to a cataclysm.
Doesn't feel like a warm-up.
I told you anything's possible. You've got to power through it, mate, or else it's going to get a whole lot worse. All right, hang in there. I might have an idea. Just give me a second.
And you're ready, Owen.
Good. I think we can still stop this. Those fragments of the relic that blew out, grab them and put them back together. Oh, and fun wrinkle, more company's on the way.
Got one.
Now carry it over and put it in place.
Get away, you filthy spawning doggies.
Keep at it and you'll survive this. Almost certainly.
Owen, something in there's growling.
Something biological, that's all I can say for sure.
Owen, what's happening in there?
The something has teeth. Lots of them. Hurry!
Pick up.
How many teeth?
Size is the real problem.
What's that mean?
Large!
Large teeth. It's gonna have large teeth.
Last one. Here goes.
Careful. Anything's...
Possible. I know.
You know, I heard a relic made a guy vanish into thin air once. No idea where he went. Which isn't as lucky as the freelancer whose guts were turned inside out.
How's that lucky?
At least he died and got it over with.
This is a pain.
They all are. Indecipherable puzzles that only make sense to shapers.
No, I mean there's ice jamming it up.
Owen? We're out of time! Silence it!
I'm trying to!
Well, nobody told him! It's an R6!
It's not working!
Not helpful, Owen.
Got it!
Lucky.
Well, at least now I've got a new story. That time a relic spawned a giant R6 that almost ate you whole.
Yeah, a classic for the ages. I'd say that fulfills the contract.
Time to get back to Fort Tarsus. To a job well done.
The only kind there is.
Scenery. Beautiful. Pretty good intro to the game. Sets the scene pretty well. And there are more good characters to come. The BioWare character element did shine through, although not as strong as the actual successful games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age. But there are good elements to this game. This is why I enjoyed it and played it, and this is why I want to do some multiplayer, because I've never been able to play it with friends. So that's what we're going to be doing on Fridays. The load times can be a little lengthy, though. It is pretty fun, yep. And you get to have some pretty big battles. Oh, this is dumb. At the end of each mission, you stand here and you see stats for things you've done to give you experience. So to get experience in this game, you don't just fight and kill things, you need to do more things. So each mission you get some experience for killing stuff, some experience for doing objectives, some experience for doing achievements. If you only do killing stuff, you won't get as much experience as someone who's done a little bit of everything. Not a bad system. And anyway, let's just skip. This whole part was dumb too, because initially the game they'd advertised no loading screens. There are loading screens and there used to be more, but they've been able to simplify a lot of them. Anyway, let's just take all the salvage items that we collected. Lyrium, you're off to bed, no worries. Thanks for coming along. We are about to finish up as well. We'll talk about the different suits or javelin types when we do some multiplayer action. I'm sure everyone will have a bit of a preference as to what type of suit they want to use, but we'll talk about that when we all get together. Here's the cinematic. We're entering Fort Tarsus, the local city which we are part of. And that's it. All right, choose a face. Red hair for Shepard and Liliana. Done. Start playing. Is that what I do? That's fine. That's it. Character created. Thanks for coming along, Delan. Thanks for hanging out. We'll end this now too.
Here we are, back in Fort Tarsus. The last stop on the Bastion frontier.
If it isn't my favorite freelancer. I hear you've been busy.
You know how it is, though. Another day, another disaster averted.
What have you done this time?
Nothing. My armor's fine. Probably. I hope.
Welcome home. You should swing by my amplifier in the Enclave.
Something wrong?
No, not wrong. More like fun. Drop on by whenever.
Cool. Here we go. Back to base. This is our stand where our suit goes. This Irish lass. Can't remember her name. find out. She's our mechanic, so she's how we fix and modify our suits. But anyway, cool. That is going to be it for tonight. Thank you everyone who has stuck around through the random stream. That has been some PowerWash Simulator, some show and tell from the adventure Outback holiday Grizz and I went on, and the intro to Anthem. Frosty, stay tuned. I'll get you a serial key in a day or two so you can chuck this on and do your intro mission as well. But that's enough talking for me. The stream is way over time. Thank you to everyone who's come along. A big shout out and thank you to our Patreon sponsors. Really appreciate everything that you have done to make all of this possible, including the likes of sponsoring games so we can play as a group. If you're interested in sponsoring on Patreon, links are in the chat. They're also in the description below, as are links to our Discord, our awesome Discord community. It's one of the reasons I'm so glad to be home, because I can talk to and interact with you all through that again. That was weird not talking to everyone for 2 weeks. But anyway, we're here, we're back. Cool. All right, that's enough talking from me. This has been Nerdedness. I've been Shade. You've been awesome. See you again in a couple nights' time for some more stream action of Doom. Our Thursday night Doom streams are back. Sparkle Sauce will be co-commentating with me, so she'll be back online, and that'll be a bit of fun too. So have a good evening, everyone, and I'll see you then.